Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Yeehaw Lads podcast, episode number 22. Gonna kick it off with a quick apology to Nick, because last week I said he was out playing hooky, and that was unfair for me. This week he's out playing fucking hooky, because earlier today he was all fine, gets home, and immediately gets sick. So
he updates the Discord with topics, like he's all ready to go, and now he's like, just kidding.
He's like, oh man, it's 5:30, feeling kind of sick, might got the flu, so we'll see next week he shows up, or maybe not.
I am
Who
surprised
knows?
you guys didn't give me shit on some of the episodes I missed when I was out in Maine. I listened to the one, I'm like, I didn't even get shit for it.
If we hadn't spent literally like 3 weeks briefing that we're gonna be going for
that's
it,
fair. That's fair.
we'll give you shit next time. Don't worry about that.
Perfect.
And you weren't gone 2 podcasts in a row.
Well, he was.
Yeah, I
actually.
was.
Yeah, but we were all
technically,
on vacation.
No,
I
he
don't know, it's a little bit different.
he was gone
Yeah.
16.
Because you guys
and
record like on a
17.
Monday or something, it sounded like.
We record on a Monday
Oh,
for
yeah.
16 and then
Mhm.
Thursday for 17. That way
Yeah.
we wouldn't have to record the day we get back. Speaking of trips and getting back, last week you went to Badlands for the Customer Appreciation Day.
Yes.
This week you went to Iowa for another wheeling trip.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I guess. I haven't even told you anything about that,
You
actually.
told me about Badlands. I saw a couple of pictures of your stuff, but that's it.
Yeah,
So we have no idea what you actually did or didn't do.
broke a lot of stuff.
That doesn't
Now-
surprise me.
You normally break stuff.
No, this is like irreversible, mostly body damage, and I think one internal part.
Okay.
So,
I'm interested.
I'll start off with this was a run at the owner of Complete Off-Road, his personal land right around his house.
Mhm.
What's up?
They're out of Dubuque, Iowa.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is just outside of town. And
Yeah, we went to their open house on the second episode
yes,
of this show. So
Yeah,
been
so same group.
Mhm.
This was a run organized by the Tri-State Stump Jumpers.
Mhm.
Guy named Cody is the president. He's been in it since he was like a kid. The club's been around, that sounds like 40, 50 years maybe.
Damn.
Like, they mostly just have a lot of property that they can use out in the quad or tri-state area.
Yeah.
Tri-State Stump Jumpers.
yeah, near Dubuque and etc.
Yeah, so they have quite a few properties they bounce around to, and like I said, one of them is the owner of Complete Off-Road's land. He's got quite a few cow pastures and valleys and such. This was also the place that Complete Off-Road's, so far has been annual trip of Complete Off-Road Experience.
Mhm.
The past 2 years it has been at his property, so it was kind of cool to listen to all those podcasts on the Total Off-Road podcast and Heat Treated Garage and hear them talk about it a bunch, and I was able to finally go out there and kind of check it out for myself.
You get to hear about it and you're kind of mentally picturing everything as you're doing it. And then once you actually go there, you're like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
How this is. I didn't expect this to be like that. You
Yeah.
get a real picture of what you've been picturing in your head.
Yeah. Shout out to Dustin Speakman. I
Speakeasy.
was told specifically by Chris
The owner, not owner.
the manager technically.
Right.
I was told by Chris, "Hey Andy, you get to give Dustin shit because Dustin did not commit and go down the very north ravine where me and a handful of other people did on this trip." So I was pretty happy about
Is that the one that they said don't go if you're afraid of body damage?
Yes.
And he didn't
Hence
go?
hence the reason I said I've broke a lot of things.
Didn't his truck get smoked by an XJ like, I don't know, a year ago?
Yeah, that
He was
would
worried
be
about
the
a little
last one.
body damage after it got nearly collapsed.
Yeah.
Thank God for the roll cage. But
Yeah. So, so little shout out to Dustin. I believe he listens. I know he said he has to catch up on a couple, but I hope you hear this.
hell yeah.
And like I said, that came directly from Chris for me to give you shit.
I can't wait till you just get a text message one day like, hey, fuck you.
On Tuesday.
I will. Yeah, I'll
afternoon.
be completely oblivious. Be like, I probably deserve this, but why?
Yeah. Fuck you. Your Dana 35s. Don't want to hear it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, I was given a little bit of a warning about this probably a couple weeks ago, and I knew that I needed to keep the Jeep kind of together after Badlands in order to do this run. And yeah, I fixed the Jeep that Sunday morning, the shock mount on it. Basically didn't touch it besides unloading the camper off my trailer, pulling the Jeep back on, strapping it down, and then driving out to Iowa Saturday morning.
Sure.
I think I woke up like 6 o'clock, left by 7.
You need to
had
be there,
by
what, 10? Yeah.
Yeah. Worked out really well. I had lost my voice entirely. Damn near.
Because you put up one Snapchat on Sunday when you were loaded up.
Yeah.
I was listening to it. I'm like, I'm like,
yeah,
is
it
he
sounds
saying
rough.
words? I had to turn it all the way up
Yep,
by my ear.
Yep.
And it was
almost as bad as when we took the Mustang home from North
It-
Carolina.
it might have been worse. It was
It's
fucking
bad,
rough.
yeah.
Like it was gravel
Yeah.
on gravel. It was
Not
rowdy.
good. So yeah, I get out there about 10 o'clock. We meet at a little bar just down the road from Rich's place.
Mhm.
Drive up there, and I've heard a lot of things about Rich's driveway. I
is
just heard
infamous.
it has a whole backstory on its own. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, let's try this bitch out. And
What's Rich's address so I can pull it?
I really don't remember. I followed somebody like 10 minutes away from where that bar was, and that I just ended up there.
Right.
So what's so special about this driveway?
So he lives like next door to a ski resort, to give you an understanding of the terrain that he's on.
He has
Okay.
good property.
Yeah, it is like Galena, Illinois.
Mhm.
That whole area up there near Dubuque area is all just
Goddamn.
very hilly area.
Yeah.
For
Illinois.
Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa area, it's very fucking hilly.
Oh yeah, for us.
So yeah, it's just he has a beautiful house with a little garage and then a shop on the other end of the property.
Mhm.
All literally just on top of like a huge hill, like twice the size of the Mark Dump, probably.
God damn.
Good
Yeah.
size hill.
Yeah, I believe it was like 350 feet elevation and not even a quarter mile.
Damn.
So yeah, pretty steep hill. But coming up to it, I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'll click it in 4 just because I'm on street tires. If I had any more aggressive, I might not have, or just lock the rear.
Not great condition street tires either.
So I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'll go up and see what it's about. And we start going up. It's not crazy. It is pretty steep. For the most part, it was about 8-degree elevation.
Were you looking at your FX4 meter? On
Yeah,
your truck?
my whatever you want to call that
the
gauge,
off-road gauge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going up the hill, I'm like, okay, like it's bouncing, 8, maybe 9
Mhm.
on the first, probably half of it, and then here comes the big swoop, and then it's another, jaunt up.
It's almost a switchback.
Yeah,
so you
basically
could
a
just
switchback.
climb your way up.
And at the switchback, or just before the switchback, it read 10. In the middle of the switchback, it read 12 degrees.
Okay.
And then from then on, it stayed, I think, about 10 up until we got up
God
to the level of
damn.
his house. So I'm like, okay, like it was pretty aggressive. Like,
How is that compared to the entrance exit road of Moonlight? Because that's pretty aggressive.
Moonlight is it is a off-road terrain. Like there are big rocks and dirt and everything. Whereas
Okay.
this was like nice gravel, but the gravel is also loose. So like if you do start slipping, you could lose your shit.
Are they both about the same kind of pitch, or is it a completely different?
Probably same pitch, yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, Moonlight is really aggressive. Like it seems like they just
It is the entrance.
they
to
don't
an
put
off-road
material on it. They just keep dozing it down to like get more rock.
Park. They knock the loose rock off the top of it.
Yeah, whereas Rich's driveway is like actually manicured gravel, which is a good and bad thing because it's also pretty loose.
Yeah, if it's not super compacted, it can
Yeah.
get kind of
Well, luckily it was dry when I got there, so that worked out pretty well.
cool. Cool.
Yeah, get up there, get unloaded, say hi to everybody. I believe I was. Oh no, I used Meng's Morphlate.
Mhm.
Aired down. Paid usually I think it's $50 a year for the membership, but since this is one of the last like 2 runs of the year, he's like, just give me $10 and then we can do a new one at the start. I'm like, perfect. Well, now that I broke all my shit, like this is
Mhm.
not foreshadowing, after shadowing, I guess.
Yeah, we kind of had a pretty good idea.
Yeah, hindsight now, I'm like, I broke all my shit, so I don't think I'm gonna and I'm also planning to go tons, so I don't really think I'm gonna be able to do the next couple runs until like late spring, probably.
Yeah, you like stick it back together just for like hangover run and then tear it apart for tons.
Yeah, I'm gonna be collecting parts before hangover run and after, and then try to slap it all together from after hangover run till when it starts to get nice out in the spring.
Yeah, basically start building the axles while they're next to it.
Yeah.
Instead of while they're
Yep.
under it. Yeah.
Yep. So, so get aired down, pay my membership. We say, all right, let's do all the easy stuff first.
How many people are
There
in this?
is, oh shit, there was probably, oh fuck, I forgot. There's people parked, like some people parked down, like right next to the road.
towards the bottom and then drove their rig up the
Yeah.
hill.
So there was at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably 10 trucks with trailers, 11 trucks with trailers at
At the top?
at the house up at the top.
God
Okay.
damn.
And there's probably at least 3 or 4 more down like near the road.
So
Like,
probably
they
like
just didn't want to drive all the way.
15 to 18 somewhere in there.
Probably about 15, yeah.
Okay. Busy day for private property anyway.
Yeah.
That's-
One guy, he had a Toyota. He was from Yorkville, Illinois, so it's only an hour or so away. Thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then there was Mang, who was Chicago-ish,
yeah,
Elgin,
an hour and a half
area.
away or whatever.
Yeah, and then everybody else pretty much just from that tri-state area.
Mhm.
But yeah, so get unloaded. We start doing the easy stuff. We go to I believe it was actually right where Brendan did lose his brakes.
Okay.
It's basically a pasture, but on the upper area of it, there's a tree line on the very steeper part of the hill, like where the cows don't really go. So there's a lot of more, undergrowth and everything.
It's a lot
and
less worn down like a pasture.
Yeah. And this is also where there's a bunch of switchbacks for the Jeeps go, because Rich has trails all over his property.
Sure.
So just kind of everywhere and anywhere. There's a couple little man-made areas down in the pasture of like with an excavator, just like to get yourself off camber, do suspension tests. One little like wall ride kind of thing, just out of dirt is all.
And you might as well. You got the room for it.
Well, that's where everybody else was having fun at, because a lot of them were open or like nice JKs, and they didn't want to beat the shit out of
They
their
were
stuff.
out there to play, not to.
Yeah, and they also do it every weekend. So like they know they've already done most of this stuff. They don't really care to do more. They're just hanging out with their friends mostly. Yada, yada.
They're treating it the same way we treat Hangover Run, which is we're going down there to do an event with the other people.
Yeah, but the people is what you're going for,
Yeah.
not necessarily the wheeling.
Yeah,
It's more of a social event.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the wheeling is the side effect of hanging out with all these people.
Yeah. So they basically kind of explained it as 3 areas. The one, which was this little area where I just described. The next area was kind of down near the end of the creek, which is a little bit harder because there's a lot more mud and and holes and stuff.
Sure.
And then after that, there was the North Ravine, which
Is the hard one.
There's 2 ravines. There was the Slate Ravine, I believe, talking
Okay.
about or Shale Ravine. Sorry, Shale Ravine was one of them, which is where Chris Willie had a little whoopsie in tetanus, the Scout. And then there was North Ravine, which had just been opened up. There's basically the highest most part had just been opened up at Core only 2 or 3 weeks ago, and had not been ran for like the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, it had basically regrown completely. They ran it for
Yeah.
core, and now you guys are going through it.
Yes. So we go to the second area, which, like I said, was by the creek area. Getting a little muddy, just kind of everybody's just kind of bopping around,
Playing
hitting a couple
around.
lines and stuff.
Mhm.
A couple people were clearing out this one little valley area that gets you really off camber and stuff. There was an old fence post and a little bit of fence in there, so they drug that out. You were able to drive through it, without risking popping your tires or anything.
Yeah, because these are unmaintained trails, so you're basically you're cleaning up the trail as you go through. Like you're cutting trees and stuff, because sometimes like a tree fell a year ago and it's still in the way.
Yeah, this was more like nobody had ever hit this, and
Sure.
it was just a junk pile at some point, like maybe a burn kind of hole.
Yeah.
I think that there was just a little bit of fence thrown in, so they just drug it out with one. I believe it was tetanus, a Scout, pulled it out. Screwed around there for a little while more. We eventually start getting around to kind of the bend of the creek, and there's one steep hill that I'm getting up. I start getting diffed out about 3/4 of the way up, and I'm sitting there on my rear axle, and I yell for Kyle on the radio. I'm like, hey, just want to double check. This is my diff hitting, right? Like, I just want to double check and make sure. Because if that's the case, then I'll just hit it harder and get through it. Because this is the only. Basically, it was mostly dirt and like loose rock, but then there was one like rock face in the middle of it, which is what I was getting stuck on. And then the ruts were too deep, and that was the problem. My tires weren't tall enough to get over it, so my axle was just kind of scraping a little bit and just kind of hanging me up.
Yeah, another time that larger tire would make a difference for you.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, like no big deal. I just got to hit it faster to get through it, but my drive shaft's not going to be in the way or in jeopardy.
Yeah,
at
if
all.
you're just barely hitting the bottom of the axle.
Yeah, that's what I had Kyle come over and look. He's like, "Oh yeah, like you can get through that." I'm like, all right, perfect.
Yeah, you can kind of roll up and over it.
So I did hit it one more time with a little more speed, got through it. At the top, however, I thought I was at full lock taking left turn, and I'm weaving in between trees. Apparently, I had another turn to go because when I was driving forward, I was like, "Huh, my Jeep's not really turning." Well, turns out I just had to turn it more.
Sure. Perks of a locker makes it sometimes hard to steer around it.
Yeah. So kissed a tree. And that's where my passenger side headlight says goodbye. The entire front valance is basically gone because my front bumper is so shoved in from hitting all the rocks and stuff. It's a factory front bumper.
Yeah. Your whole front corner was gone basically.
Yeah. So I took a screwdriver, took all the extra screws out, undid all the bulbs, zip tied it up. I'm like, well, all right, we are ugly now. We are called Two-Face officially because we're missing half the grill and a headlight. And yeah,
man,
it looks pretty
if
rough.
only you had a big giant front bumper that matched your rear bumper.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice having just the stock slim bumper because it doesn't stick out very far.
And approach angle is really nice.
Approach angle's almost unbeatable.
Yeah.
But That's
Yeah.
when it's like, damn, it's like a piece of steel would have been nice there, but
Yeah.
you could have you might have pushed in a frame rail if you hit it hard enough. You
Yeah.
never
So,
know.
No big deal. Undid all that shit through my floorboard and said, all right, on to the next. At this point, so in the first area, Rich had broken the track bar mount off of his front axle in his TJ. So he brought his up to weld it back on in his garage.
Right.
Then somebody else broke. It stopped his whole. It was a Jeepster, I believe.
Like
A
the Jeep
79,
thing.
yeah, like a 79 Jeepster ish, or just a very old CJ5, something like that, like very old Jeep style with a V8 and like 33 boggers. It decided to just stop running, I guess. So they just pulled him actually all the way back up to the house.
Something about like this.
Something, yeah,
Kind of.
not nearly as nice,
Not
but
yeah. More.
This is one of the probably original rigs that has been wheeling for 20 or so years.
It's a trail rig, not necessarily.
Yeah.
This is like
Yeah, the guy's
show
probably
drive,
like almost 60, maybe in his 60s. He's been wheeling this thing for 20 years, just bopping around, throughout the club.
literally
and stuff.
just playing with it essentially for years.
Yeah. So he gets towed up from the second area. The third area we go to is the Shale Ravine. Shale Ravine, we are kind of weaving in and out of some trees. It is basically on the other half of the property.
Okay.
So yeah, we're on the way over there. We're kind of weaving in a little bit of trails, trying to get over to it. And there's a full hydro TJ build on tons and 40s.
Okay. Pretty nice.
His starter took a shit, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, he thought the battery was going out or something. We parked there for a second. I was spotting Kyle Mang to get through one kind of tricky area. And then I walk back over and I see him not starting. I'm like, okay, like what's up with that? Well, okay, no big deal. And I was like, well, I can jump start you. And this is before we knew that the starter was taking a shit.
Yeah, you
so
think
I
it's the
pull
battery.
around him, and then I'm creeping up my. I did a battery relocation, so now my battery is in my passenger door. So I have to like really swing around. Well, there's a down tree right next to him, and I pull up, and the tree basically wide off. So there's one on the ground, one leg on the ground, one leg sticking right up and pokes my radiator.
Oh.
Well, technically, it was my AC.
Your AC condenser coil.
Well, yeah, it was in the front.
Yeah.
And that took the brunt of it, but it also might have, fucked up my radiator a little bit.
Definitely bent it a
God
little bit.
damn.
Definitely hit it. I'm like, cool. They're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like, I was really hoping it was going to break or my bumper would hit it. Apparently not. Whatever.
Yeah. Figured it out. Don't worry. I'll stop.
So, all right, I come back. They break it off, and then I pull up forward, and then we can jump it. Turns out it didn't need the power. It just needed a starter. The starter, he took it off, and it just the whole thing, like the internal gears just split in half.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Like just a clean break
Lord.
right down the middle. I'm like, oh, that's pretty bad.
Like, that's junk. Throw it away.
So they were dragging that out with a skid steer. Right as Rich was about to come back, they're like, hey, Rich, don't get in your Jeep. Grab a skidder, come down, and you have to tow this rig.
Drag this.
Pulling a rig with fully hydraulic steering is hard.
That's a pain in the ass.
You have to move the entire cylinder and all the fluid with just the pressure you can make by your own arms turn the steering wheel.
Yeah. Instead of 3,000 PSI on a hydro pump.
It's a couple hundred by you cranking on a steering wheel and trying to use all the leverage of that, trying to make it all work.
Yeah. You're manually pumping a
It's
valve.
hard. It's 10 times harder than
Turning manual steering.
manual steering vehicle.
Yeah. Manual steering can be a little bit tricky. Plus, you're on 40s and
Yeah.
it's got a hydro cylinder essentially fighting you. Like,
Yeah.
It's almost a steering stabilizer, just a really big one.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly how. I think they drug him out most of the way so the skid steer didn't have to come into the trail.
And if
but
it's a
then-
skid steer, you can kind of pick some weight off the front,
yeah,
maybe.
and I believe they did that to get him through the grass field that was just before the tree area and trail.
Sure.
And then got him loaded or whatever. So then we go to Shale. And then as we were messing with trying to jumpstart him, whatever, this is when Chris has the oopsie. So he does he goes through the part of the trail that nobody really hits. It's not the easy way down into the trail. It is a very, very hard, basically untouched area where a lot of brush has fallen over and many drowned trees and stuff. Probably another 30-yard stretch of it he's going through.
Okay.
Once he gets through that, then he kind of gets into a bind. And the thing with him is it's an International Scout body with a Chevy LS engine V8, automatic, 1-ton axles, 40-inch tires. He does not have any sort of hydraulic steering. He is on a Jeep JK frame, which is like 07 to 15, I think, or 18 maybe.
Somewhere. Well, before JKU, yeah, probably.
Well, JKU is a 4-door.
That's
JL
true.
is the newest.
That's right.
So he's on a stock Jeep frame with a stock Jeep steering box and straight links. There is no hydraulic assist. It is just the power that the pump and the box can give to steer these tires.
And luckily, like, that thing's light, but I am still shocked that it turns as well as it does.
He said this was the turning point because he got so bound up in a crossed area that he did a little flop on his side. So no big deal. He was trying to FaceTime his wife actually when he flopped and be like, "Hey, honey," because this would be his first flop, at least in this rig. So yeah,
I'm assuming that's it right there.
Yeah. So he's just kind of flopped over, and one of these pictures possibly has a guy, standing right next to it.
Yeah.
So you can kind of tell that the guy is standing vertical, the rig is on its side.
Yeah, you kind of get a scale for how bad he's, how bad he flopped this thing over.
But I mean, it's very attention to detail under here. It looks very nice.
Yeah, it looks super nice. But
he just put the tree rails.
Rub rails.
Rub rails
rock
on the
sliders.
outside. Yeah. He just put those on. He's gonna try to leave them bare steel and let them rust to kind of match the rusty Scout body that he has.
Yeah, it's very patina looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no hydro assist on that axle at all. You can see clear as day it's a straight link.
Yeah.
And as someone else who has straight links on 40s, not good.
Yeah, it's hard.
And this is at least crossover steering, so it's better. I've got Y-link steering that fucking sucks.
Yeah. So yeah, we which I'll say this all happened. He was back upright and ready to go by the time we actually got over to the shale ravine.
I'd say it probably only took a couple minutes to get it back up.
Yeah, it wasn't long. There was already 2 or 3 rigs already over by him. The rest of us get up to him probably 5 minutes later after we deal with that downed rig with a full hydro.
Right.
Get over to the shale ravine. We go down through, do a couple more trails, and then everybody says, "All right, we're gonna go to North Ravine. If you don't want body damage, here's where you turn around. Or you can go up with us to the start of the trail. And then you just have to know your way to go back around." And to not go through this because it's kind of one way in, one way out. You just gotta do a turnaround if you do.
It's one of those like if you're gonna do it, you kind of have to commit or
there is
back.
a point. Yeah, there is one point, and it is the big drop off at the very top of the North Ravine.
And that's when you have to commit right there or back out the whole way, basically.
Yeah. Are you on
Facebook? What do you?
The Tri-State Jump Jumpers?
That was a
page, or
I was not.
It was at a woman's page.
I was on. That was Chris's page.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'll see if I can pull up the Stump Jumpers page.
Well, I think it's
they might
on,
have some generic pictures.
Yeah.
Still.
I know one of the women there who did a lot of the filming. She put a bunch of stuff on it. But anyway,
yeah, 3 days ago, a bunch of videos and stuff.
Cool. Yeah. So try to find the one where we're all dropping in on that big drop.
There's a lot of videos. It might.
I know there is a lot. Like I said, yeah, the one woman, she did a lot of taping, which is good.
Chris must have shared it because it's the same pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. So so we eventually get through the shale. We come up to the very top of the north side, and then we start watching. Who would be the first one to go down? I believe it was the President Cody in his like CJ5 on 35s or whatever.
Okay.
I believe he's the first one to drop in. And then there's an XJ on 35s in front. Like he comes down, and then I believe it was. Oh, it'd have been a JK. He shattered his taillight on this little outpoking rock on this little waterfall drop. Then it was Chris, I believe. Then it was it's this International Scout blue tube frame buggy looking thing.
Okay.
And then it was me behind him, and then it was a really nice YJ buggy behind me. And then it was Chris in the very back. We all get through there, like I said. Or actually, shit. This is going to be out of order. I'll finish this story, but I'll have another I'll go back to. So yeah, we're going through the waterfall, and I get once I get down and through, I hear some scraping. Most of it got took by my bumper, and there's no dent or ding any. There's scratch paint, but it took the majority of it. Everybody else was really slamming hard on the back quarter panel, and like I said, the one JK lost a whole taillight and like license plate light fixture that mounts on the back of the Jeep.
Okay.
A lot of kind of damage there. But like I said, my bumper took 99% of it, so
Nice.
worked out pretty well.
Sure.
Once I get down through there, I can kind of get crossed up on a log and stuff because this is the trail that hadn't been ran for 10 years.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of like weird rocks sitting in places and down trees and stuff. So we're kind of just crawling over that. I got to get winched back a little bit.
Mhm.
Then I'm able to go through, and then we all kind of wait. I hear chainsaws way up the trail trying to blaze through. They start moving again. Then it was Chris in the Scout, the blue Scout buggy
Tube
thing.
frame.
And then it was me. I all of a sudden am crossed up in a very clay, muddy area
Ooh.
with 2 or 3 really big rocks to my right and then a tree on the bank.
Mhm.
I managed to be fully into the tree on my cage and passenger door. And then also the 3 big rocks are now underneath me and holding up my axle.
Mhm.
So I'm getting, diffed out on that.
Yep.
So I probably do 3 or 4 pulls to try to get through that. And eventually I just go hammer down and I just slam the throttle. I'm able to drag my diff over the rocks, off of the tree. But then when I slam down, my rear bumper slams on the rock.
Mhm.
Bumper took it great, but I believe, then my Jeep starts to stutter and then die. And I'm like,
Okay.
weird. They all thought I vapor locked, which is when your fuel rail gets so hot that it just fucks up all the fuel system.
It gets so hot it creates air pressure in front of the
Yes.
fuel that slows the fuel down enough it won't run.
Yes.
Basically.
So we mess with that. We try to cool it down. We're doing the bleeder. I'm cycling the key a ton.
Mhm.
You can hear the pump running. We're checking fuses, checking relays. Like everything seems to be working fine.
Sure.
In hindsight, I believe something broke internally on the pump because now I saw when I was back home, I cycled the key when I was on my trailer, and I can hear running fluid inside the cell. So I'm
Okay.
assuming a hose or
Ooh.
something broke off the pump
Yep.
assembly itself because I'm running a bone stock Jeep Cherokee fuel sending unit, the whole
Yeah.
deal. I believe something just broke off or fell off in there. So I got to tear apart the whole fuel cell to get back to it, which kind of sucks.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But I'm probably just gonna replace it with brand new and call it
Yeah,
good enough.
be done.
Um,
You should just do like an inline one.
They're usually not enough pressure. Well, keeping it
Oh,
in the
that's
tank's
fair.
nice because it'll stay cool in there because the fuel
Yeah.
will keep it cool.
mhm.
And normally an inline one to get enough pressure is expensive.
Yeah,
Like
I'm gonna look into it, but
if you're gonna do inline, it's nice because you can keep it underneath the tank level.
yeah,
That way it's always full. But yeah, if you lean any, it'll get out of
I guess that's true.
whack sometimes. But
So yeah, but anyway, that was the major problem of I had to get drugged the rest of the way through. So technically, I did start Trail 10. I did go down the waterfall,
You just
and I
didn't
did
finish
get
it with
through
under your own power.
I did get through the 10% or so that nobody hit in 10 years, but the rest of it, since I knocked my fuel pump out of whack and it basically died, I had to get drugged through all the rest of it. So,
sure.
Okay.
the
so not
one
bad so far.
Well, so that was technically the end of the day. We finished up right about at dark,
So
got
this was
drug up,
Saturday.
loaded up on the trailer. Yeah. This was the only day I only did the one day. But I did spend the night there because Kyle Meng had a hotel room.
Might as well.
And then we went out to dinner and screwed around, went back to the hotel, passed out. Oh, I was so tired.
Absolutely wiped from getting beaten up and bouncing off rocks.
That and I hadn't gotten good sleep at all that whole week, thanks
Fair.
to somebody.
Fair.
But yeah, so like I said, the one thing I did forget is over near the Shale Ravine. This was before we hit the Trail 10, the North Ravine. Over near the Shale Ravine, we start going up this really muddy kind of slick area, and this is where it got interesting. I watched a couple people go up. There was a couple people kind of fighting this before me. I was probably the 6th rig down. I'm so tired. I was almost sleeping. I hear somebody walking up through the leaves, like up on top of the kind of valley that I'm in. And I'm like, cause I'm just kind of waiting my turn. There's 3 more rigs I'm waiting on.
Right.
I hear somebody walking. I'm like, oh shit. Like I almost just kind of woke up. I'm like, oh damn. All right, cool.
You
Skinwalker.
you suddenly became aware of everything around you. You're like,
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I was almost sleeping. Cool. Anyway,
cool, great time.
minute or 2 passes. Now it's my turn to go up. I'm following that Toyota truck, from Yorkville. He was getting crossed up at the very top of it. This is the video I sent you.
This is the one that you sent me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you'll see all of
Let's
it.
say
There's pictures. The pictures are just screen grabs, basically.
Right.
So yeah, the first start of it, there is a very deep hole with a tree on the upper bank to the right. Then through that, it's a little bit more off kilter dirt, and then there's a very sharp left turn hook with a very deep ravine in the center of it that you basically have to pivot through and then full throttle out to get enough traction because it's all kind of
Okay, so
this
it's
whole weekend
it's a
has
little
been-
technical.
this whole weekend has been very just dirt driven, like wet dirt, a lot of it. So traction isn't an issue. Like you can find it, but
Yeah.
you got to clean your tires,
Mm-hmm.
aka wheel speed, enough to get to the good.
It's a lot
traction.
of keep your momentum, but be ready to change your direction of it very
Yes,
quick.
because there
to
are trees
bounce-
everywhere.
to bounce over it.
So the first part of it you'll see, I get my passenger side tire in the lower area of this little ravine next to the tree, and it just kind of slips in, and so I'm really leaning hard to the passenger. I'm like, whatever, I can probably just drive through it. And once I get up through it, there's a very high in front of me, like it's a kind of a steeper wall in front of me.
There's like a high on one side and like a low behind you almost.
Yeah, so all of a sudden my front axle really just starts to climb, and all of a sudden my hood is aiming at Jesus, to the sky.
Had a real come to Jesus moment.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the sky. I'm like, all right, I think I can go forward, and it'll start to level off. Go forward, not a lot of traction. I'm like, all right, I'll back up a little bit. Back up a little bit, try it again. Same thing. And then I'm like, maybe just a little more throttle. Well, this time I get a little bit of grip, and I just kind of do a little flop.
It kind of flops a little bit.
When I flop, I manage to hook my cage onto this tree because the roots are right on that bank there.
Oh,
So I managed to use the top side of my cage, but not flip my Jeep, which was
But
cool.
yeah, but not touch the side essentially.
So you used
Yeah.
your cage as basically a root
as
anchor.
an
A
anchor.
pivot
the
point
rope
damn near. Yeah,
system.
it was interesting.
So that's the video you sent
shit.
me.
Yeah,
let's
this
see
is the
it.
video. Yeah, it's like a 1.5 minute video.
Sure. Let's see what's what.
Um,
So that's
yeah,
the Toyota.
he's struggling where that's the pivot point is. He has to be that tree to the left. He has to go all the way up.
Yeah, I could see just a little cutout.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Oh, hello, Andy.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the
God
little root ball
damn.
where my cage is, I'm like, okay, like this is interesting, and I'm like, this is where I'm going back and forth. Didn't really understand. I'm like trying to find traction, still rubbing my cage on the wall over there.
This is very articulation heavy.
It's very much a ravine cut by water
Yeah.
Yeah.
in
Hard
the woods.
You got a dry creek bed. Nice.
Oh, that was. Oh, okay. If you want to show the picture, you'll see where my flop was. This must have been after. I must have sent you the wrong one, actually. Then.
Okay. I found a video of. Yeah, because there's only another 20
Okay,
seconds.
yeah,
Do
that
you wanna
was
keep-
just me getting through it.
Do you want to keep going on this or?
It's fine.
Okay.
Show
So-
the picture though. The
Yeah.
picture is where I was actually. There's two actually.
Yeah, the picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah. So this was
Oh yeah, you
This
were like
was-
3/4 over.
this was when my cage was hooked and I wasn't. I was still technically on the weight of my 3 tires.
Mhm.
The next picture, there's another one where is when I'm fully flopped.
Yeah, because you could see the inside tires have both picked up.
Mhm.
Yeah, the only tires touching the ground are both on the passenger side, and I'm fully drooped on suspension in the front.
Yeah.
So when did somebody just come over and grab the roof rail? And
No, I
flop
was
you
still
back?
hooked. So the only reason I stayed there for so long, which is people watching me were asking, they're like, "Why is he just sitting there?" I was like, "Well, I had a cooler in my passenger seat strapped
Oh.
with a seatbelt.
Okay.
I heard water running all of a sudden when I got fully flopped.
Oh fuck!
I'm like, "Oh fuck my cell!" So I killed the engine and I look back.
Yeah, the fuel
and I'm
cell
like,
in there with you.
I'm like, "Oh, like the cell's fine, perfectly waterproof." I'm super happy with this Permatex gasoline specific sealant.
Works amazing.
Worked really good. There was no fuel coming out of it at all. But my
Nice.
cooler with full of water was leaking.
so it
and
just
I was
kind of gave
watching
you
it.
a, oh shit.
I
come
was
to
watching
Jesus
that
moment.
like run down my rear passenger door. I look back at it. I'm like, oh fuck, there's so much so much water coming. I thought it was gas. I'm like, I don't smell it though. And I'm like, oh, it's my cooler. Thank God. All right, whatever, no big deal.
Yeah. Oh fuck, it's my.
So then I
cooler.
start it back up. I'm able to like hammer it, reverse it, and get off the hook of the tree. And then I, kind of just maneuvered my wheels, was able to grab more traction on the passenger side, walk myself up and through. And then the very end of it, where that Toyota buggy was struggling, I did it in one shot of just
I have the video.
full-
I have the video of you actually making it up. That if you want to see it.
full
Oh, yeah.
crank to the left.
It was a very commit, but it worked out.
Kyle Mang did a very good job with him too, because he did damn near the same thing. But his rear bumper was so big that it pivoted. He did it like his Jeep was fully stopped and pivoted on his rear bumper, where mine just kind of slams and goes.
Especially because he has a rear tire carrier, which adds a bunch of weight
Yeah.
far back, and it makes it longer too.
Yeah, his was almost hilarious because it literally like his whole Jeep was stopped there. He was cranked left, and it just his front tires just kind of spun him, and then right when right when he was facing the right way, it was able to drag the rear bumper off that mound of dirt. Whereas, like I said, mine just kind of
You guys.
I was turned and I slammed on it, but I carried the momentum through.
Yeah. Let's watch this real quick.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
click play, lame. So this is just after you almost
Which
roll in.
this is a little weird because everybody says stay as far passenger as you can, and then once you get here,
Oh, okay, I see.
and I'm struggling, I'm turning the wheel back and forth. I gather up just enough traction. I'm like, sick, I made it.
Damn. Yeah, that's a 90-degree turn right there.
Also, I don't know if you saw how high my front bumper was. It's also a point to the sky, but like I said, like once your rear tire comes off that thing, when your rear bumper hits the dirt, then you're on flat again, and you just hammer down to get traction to get up it. So
You just got to dig enough to get out of the.
And there's another video of you climbing
Wet
like a
silt.
super steep, muddy. It looks like kind of the same area, but I don't think it is. I don't know if you can see this from over here. Like, I don't think it's the same hill after that.
oh, that's me getting winched up. That is the
Oh,
bottom of
yeah, I see
the
a winch
North
line
Ravine.
now.
Yeah, so that was the very last trail of the end at the end of the day. I had 2 rigs winching me up.
So it's basically the end of the day.
Yeah, it was just about getting dark. We stopped at I think it was like 7:00 dark. Got loaded up. But yeah, so all in all, good wheeling. Like I said, I had listened to probably 6 episodes of podcasts, whether it be Total Off Road or
Heat
Treated
Treated.
Garage,
Yeah.
about this area of wheeling, and I was really excited to go and met everybody through the Tri-State Stump Dumpers.
Yeah, people you'd heard about but not met.
Was able to finally wheel with Rich and Chris, both who I was excited to. I got to hang out with Kyle, which is always a good time, whatever we're doing.
Yeah, Kyle's always good.
Man.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good time. Met a lot of cool people. I'd like to go up there and do more runs, but like I said, I'm kind of in a transitioning period with my Jeep. So
Kind of into the build stage now.
yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
I can dive into the tons probably once I start gathering parts. Honestly, I'll wait for.
Yeah, we can. Well, was it? So that's the end of day 1. Did you do anything day 2?
No.
Or was day-
So yeah, basically the rest of the day, me and Kyle got loaded up, bullshitted with Rich. Me and Kyle were the last 2 to leave.
I'm
'Cause-
shocked by that.
Well, Kyle also had to redo some of the core
Like B-roll
interviews and
footage?
stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like interviews and stuff for Rich and Chris both.
Gotcha.
So he was busy doing that while I was loading up. Then I helped Kyle load up, and then we just kind of bullshitted with Rich for a little bit, and then we were heading out to the hotel. We stayed at a decent little Super 8 right in Dubuque, right next to a place we ate was like old style Chicago pizza or something,
Ooh,
something
okay.
along those lines, or
Sounds
Pizza
good.
House or something. Yeah,
Nice.
Chicago style Pizza House, maybe something like that. Decent little like kind of sports bar esque. Had a lot of good food.
Was it Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room?
Yes, that's what it was.
Okay.
Decent food. The appetizers were really good. Kyle had like beer cheese pretzel. I had a pepperoni like garlic roll knot deal. It was
Okay.
basically
Sounds really
It was
good.
basically like a dough cup with cheese and butter and garlic and pepperoni on the inside of it. So kind of like a little pizza ball.
Yeah.
Kind of like all the pizza components, but assembled wrong.
Yeah, and then you just dip it in marinara. Those were really good.
That sounds really good.
Me and Kyle both got
So like a mini calzone almost.
kinda, yeah, like a bite-sized,
Yeah.
like palm-sized calzone.
A pizza roll, a fancy pizza roll, if you
Yeah.
will.
A
yeah, pretty good.
bougie
A
Pizza roll.
bougie pizza
Me and
roll.
Kyle both ordered for entrees bacon, chicken, mac and
Ooh.
cheese.
Ooh,
That sounds good.
Fuck me up.
Very cold for both of us. We start eating, it's like it tastes good, but like, man, like the plate's hot, but it's cold.
You're like something just ain't right here.
So like it was just warm enough to eat. Like honestly, I probably should have complained. Like it was
like,
borderline.
hey,
Like,
hey,
that
heat this
was
up.
yeah. Like dude, I don't like microwave it. I don't
Go
care.
toss it back in the microwave.
Like I said, the plate was hot as shit. But
They
like
microwave the plate. Like that'll be good enough.
yeah, like I don't know.
They
was
probably
weird.
used like a little mini convection oven or something.
Yeah, it was weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, right on the line of like should have complained, but
Of
it
like
tasted decent. It would have been
Too
better if it was
goddamn
hot.
tired
of
to
the like
complain.
I'm too exhausted.
Yeah, and we at this point we had ordered appetizers like before we even ordered the entree, so we had probably he was drinking like a mixed drink, I was drinking beer. I think I had 2 or 3 beers before the entree got
damn.
there, and I think we had another. Well, I think I had 2 for dinner,
Like 2, 3,
and
4,
then we
5,
had
6.
one more after the dinner because I paid my bill, and then Kyle I saw had a full drink, so I'm like, oh, I'll just get another beer, and I'll we'll stay here and hang out still.
Sure.
And just bullshit. So, yeah, pretty good place to eat. Like I said, it was like 1 block away from where the hotel was. So
As
he has
convenient as possible.
he has an electronic jack on his trailer, so he just unhooked. We
Nice.
drove over there. I'm like, that's
Instead of
great.
unloading one of the Jeeps and driving them in or something.
or walking. I was like, oh yeah, this is great. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's only a block.
Well,
Wait a
I
minute.
told him, I told him, like, I didn't know you had this like fancy jack on here. If I knew that, I 100% would not have felt guilty of you unhooking.
Oh, so
So
fancy.
screw it. But yeah, so
Wow.
that was pretty good. But yeah, after that we, had one more drink at the eatery. Went back to the hotel.
Went upstairs, shared a bed.
Slept at a mediocre bed. Yeah. No, it wasn't.
Did you guys sleep pole to pole or hole to hole?
No, we had separate beds.
Lame.
Yeah.
Pussy.
We're not cuddling like me and Steve did at AOP. Damn.
For no reason, probably. Knowing you guys.
No, we had two queens in there at AOP.
Oh, you're both queens.
So it
all
was
right.
it was Tom and Brendan on the one, and me and Steve on the other. So
I suppose out of whichever one you'd pick, that's probably the better of the outcomes.
it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, we me and Kyle go to bed. Wake up in the morning, and he snoozes like the alarm like 3 or 4 times, and I'm like,
Me on a daily basis.
I'm like, I've gotten the most sleep. I got like 7.5 hours of sleep. I'm like, dude, this is the most I've had in 5 days.
In a week.
I feel great. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go out. Like I see an extra key on the nightstand. I'm like, perfect. I'll just take the hotel key, go down, find breakfast because I think they have one here.
Mhm.
Go
Just
down.
Scope it out.
The most mediocre continental breakfast ever.
Oh, of course.
you
There
ever
was
had
a
a-
Super 8.
Have you ever had a non-mediocre
Yes.
continental breakfast?
The ones that have any sort of eggs, meat, waffle maker,
Oh, this
anything.
is like poverty.
There was 3 options for food, or maybe 4.
It's like
there was
cereal.
Was there?
toast.
Okay, wait. Was there waffles?
no. Yeah. Okay. So there was raisin,
this is
bran
shit.
or frosted flakes for cereal.
Okay.
Frosted flakes actually goes hard. I have not had them in a long time. They go hard.
They're
They
still good.
Yeah.
They do
They hold
hold
up. They hold up.
Cereal's
honestly.
always a good go-to.
So I had a bowl of that.
Mhm.
Then there was bagels, apples, muffins.
Okay.
There was the stuff for toast. There was jam and butter.
Mm.
No bread anywhere. I'm like, okay, fair.
Put it on the bagel.
Um,
You can jelly a
I
bagel.
guess I'll just go fuck myself.
Yeah. I think I only
jelly
had. I
this
had
bagel.
I had the bagel. I had the, and I had cereal. Oh, and then apple juice and orange
well,
juice.
of course.
Apple juice.
So I'm like, and then coffee, but I didn't drink coffee. So I was like,
Well,
yeah, just apple juice, frosted flakes, and a bagel. I'm like, well, it works.
What a
They did have
champion's breakfast.
cream cheese for the bagel. I'm like, okay, at least you have that.
I think they call that the breakfast of champions. That sounds. That's like
It was free and it was decent, and I didn't care.
That's like a healthy breakfast almost.
I know.
Like,
Yeah,
what's
and it
wrong
tasted
with
pretty
you?
good. I'm like, all right, fair enough. So yeah. Oh, but everybody, we're in the Midwest, right? So as I'm
Obviously.
walking down to breakfast, my voice is also like it's even worse than it was the day before. So I'm like walking down, they're like, "Good morning." I'm like, "Morning, morning." Like I'm trying to like squeak one out and not because like when you don't have a voice, you're like you can't overcompensate, and,
Yeah.
like yell at them,
Mhm.
but like you like is what you do, or it's like you don't get it out enough for them to hear you.
It's so impolite to not respond.
Yeah,
You're
so
like,
I was like,
have to make
"Morning,"
some
like,
noise.
Yeah, everyone I said, I was trying to find the line of like, can I get a normal volume? Good morning out.
You should have just pulled the old.
Should just.
I
waved.
haven't had my Newports yet.
He couldn't get that loud. is the
probably not,
problem.
yeah.
You should just waved. Just
I should have said like,
I need a cigarette.
like something.
Haven't had my ciggies and bees yet.
Yeah,
What kind
but
of-
yeah,
what kind
I
of
probably
continental-
passed 6 people walking down to the breakfast, and there was 3 people in there.
Mhm.
Every one of them said good morning. I'm like, I can't. I want to be polite, but I
damn
can't.
it's such a Midwest thing. It's like,
I
oh,
can't
all the
speak.
old people at the Super 8 are like, "Hey, how you doing?" You're like, "I
When
can't
I'm
speak.
coughing and because I have phlegm and shit, I'm like, God damn it, I sound like I'm dying.
Damn trees can't have shit out here."
Oh well,
The
but yeah, so that was my
Clibbins.
mediocre breakfast, and then Kyle finally actually wakes up. He's like, "Did you go out on an adventure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I found breakfast." And I get back up to the room. He's like, "I've stayed here like 3 or 4 times. I have never gotten the breakfast from here." I'm like, "Do you want to go through the options? There's only 4."
Yeah,
Like,
like, don't.
he's like, "Okay, apparently I'm not missing much."
Yeah,
I'm like,
you made the
"Exactly."
right choice by just not eating the breakfast here because it's fucking lame.
Mhm.
Like normally, at least you'd like, hey, they got sausage and eggs, fucking good
Yeah,
enough.
sausage, eggs, waffles, any like sort of hot pre-made
Yeah.
food would have been
Would've been
okay. Or even the
amazing.
toast. I love toast. I love just fucking jam and butter on extra baked bread.
You do what with your butter? You jam and butter?
Yeah. But like, I'm like, I love toast. And I'm like, the fact that you had all the shit for it and a toaster,
And
which is
no toast.
I was like, where's the bread, bro? Like, I just need that.
I'm shocked you have bagels but not toast.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had, and like, it was in like a pull-out drawer area that had all the bagels like stacked up, and there's fucking 30 bagels there.
So you probably had no idea how to use the drawer. You're like, I can't push it in any further. How does it open? I don't know how to pull this out.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I'm like, surely you would have thrown the bread in there, but I
You
don't.
would certainly think so.
It made no sense. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. I guess
Super
I'm
8s. On
mediocre at best.
the shit list now. We're going to La Quintas from now on.
Fuck that Hilton's.
We're not paying for Hilton's. Fuck you.
I think I have points.
I
Must
have
be
points
nice.
for a bunch of stuff I don't
I
use.
Meng slept there Friday night and Saturday night, so it was under his name. So I
fuck
think I
it.
shot him like $60 or whatever.
And yeah, you could
Yeah,
just went and
fuck.
got breakfast anywhere in town, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Would've been better
But
off.
mine was free and I didn't care. He had to run back over to complete off road before he left town. But yeah, headed out fairly early. Sunday, got back home in a decent time.
Nothing too exciting Sunday.
No, on the way up there for Saturday morning, I did cut off a ways past Princeton. I was in a construction zone and it went from 2-lane. It was in construction into 1, but then in the middle of it, it opened back up to 2. There was a 3-mile stretch of 2 lanes still, and then it was going to go
in a
back.
construction zone.
And then
back
it
to
was,
1.
and then it was going to go back to 1.
Okay.
What
there
were
was
they,
three-
like,
there was the
redoing
3-mile
the underneath of the bridge.
I don't really know.
Something?
I don't really remember. But the only thing I remember was in that 3-mile stretch, I see a sign that says 2 miles ahead, merge or right lane closes. I'm like, okay, cool. There's a car ahead of me. I'm in the left lane. There's a car ahead of me, and there's a semi on the right.
Okay.
No blinker, no warning. He's doing 55. Merges
The
back.
semi?
Yeah, semi merges back into the left or into the left lane.
He's bigger than you, so I guess he doesn't have to give a fuck.
Yeah, but I almost sandwiched a fucking VW in front of me. Like, I'm not kidding. It was every ounce of brakes. I'm pretty sure my trailer locked the fuck up. Like every ounce of brake, and I just
say,
spent 1,100 hours
aren't
on
you glad you
really
just-
good drilled and slotted rotor ceramic pad.
Gotta be
shit.
glad you just did truck brakes. Otherwise, you probably
Oh, I
had
would have
it.
smashed I would have sandwiched the fuck out of that car.
And you don't have the ambulance on and stuff like.
Yeah,
any
thank
little
God.
bit more, and you would have been through that
Fuck.
thing.
So yeah, I'm just immediately pissed. I jump back to the right lane because I still have 2 miles to pass.
Yeah.
I stayed in the right lane for literally another 1.5 miles after this guy cut me off. And I'm like, now you could have got over, you asshole.
yeah, just out of frustration, you're like,
Oh,
fine.
I drive by, roll down my window, flip him off. I'm like that's one of the only times I've ever flipped anybody off, like out the window.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, what the fuck? No signal, nothing. Just
think-
fuck you, left lane.
Fuck 'em,
The
that's why.
only time I did something like that, I was headed to Princeton, and it was two
This
semis,
was really far past, but somewhere.
and I was in the left lane trying to pass, and of course, right as I got up, semi pulled over, and basically from, I don't know, a eighth of the way from the Spring Valley to Princeton exit,
Mm-hmm.
he was in the left. That is when he got over,
Okay.
and it took me basically all the way until the Princeton exit for him to pass the semi in front of him.
Oh, they're doing the
like
same
every
speed for
hill
5
that
miles.
he would go, he would slow
Yep.
back down.
Yep.
And
yep,
just, I remember getting past him and just
That's
out the goddamn window.
that's called an elephant race. Is when
Yeah.
they do that.
Fucking
It
bullshit.
sucks.
It's as slow as possible, and they will never pass each other.
Yeah.
Normally
It's the
the-
fucking cruise control race.
Normally, there's a courtesy, like the inside driver. Sometimes they'll let off and
Yeah,
let
like
around.
Yeah.
Click down 1 mile per hour,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it will be much easier for both of you.
Yeah. Some do
10
that.
minutes, I was thinking I was pulling my fucking hair out. Going,
yeah.
What
Pass
the
it.
fuck?
Pass them on the shoulder. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Well, at
Um,
least you didn't hit nobody.
Yeah. So
Other
That
just
VW would have been
just
fucked.
my own Jeep against trees and
Trees
yeah,
and
so
rocks and
my passenger side door currently doesn't open. My front one, which that
it-
already had damage from moonlight originally before I put my rock sliders on.
it barely opened to begin with.
Dead blow hammer and some.
Passenger side
love.
fender needs some reworking. I need a whole new front grill. The headlight is good, but I just disconnected it all.
Right.
Yeah, I need a bunch of shit.
A bunch
But
of little
I
work.
believe my buddy does have a same color Jeep with a blown motor and no axles.
Mhm.
Pretty sure I'm going to buy the whole thing for parts, basically. And once I get the tons done and once I kind of work all that out, I'm thinking I'm going to do like a full like reskin of the Jeep, enough to kind of make it look good again.
replace all the easy to replace.
Yeah,
parts.
replace the doors. I think the hood will probably still be good, but front
for now-
grill, fender probably.
For now, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, all the little shit.
And you get to that, you do like rub rails on the front and back, like
Yeah, really try to dress it up once the tons are done
Mhm.
and everything else.
extend the cage forward.
You got all
and
your
backwards.
mechanicals covered now. Now you can worry about looks.
Well,
Yeah.
now it's time
Yeah.
to redo all the mechanicals.
Well,
but yeah,
yeah, but you get my point though.
yeah.
Yep. So
4 links,
kinda my
coilovers, fucking 43 stickies.
Cheap,
Come on,
cheap,
come
cheap.
on. Just spend money you don't have. It's fine.
yeah, no, not
Just don't go
currently.
full blown cheapskate. You gotta.
Nah.
No,
Dude,
it's decent. It'll be decent.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like I'm probably gonna run the factory steel wheels on both the axles for now.
Oh, yeah.
Non-bead locks. The cheapest set of 40s I can find.
Oh yeah.
No,
Um,
absolutely. No,
Tires. That's a wear item.
I was up in the air about doing a second transfer case or like an Atlas transfer case, which is like a really, really high dollar,
yeah.
like
Blue
really,
speed case or something.
yeah, really, really good one, or just gearing it now. Because I had the lead on a really, really cheap set of used gears for the rear, which would have been a good medium gear to run.
Be a good gear for like 37s, but if you're going 40, you probably should go more aggressive.
Yeah, I was debating about that for a while. I priced out a full set of gears for them, and it wasn't as bad as I was expecting, so I'm kind of up in the air on that. At the very least, I need to get the axles under the Jeep, then I can do whatever the fuck I want.
And you can put them in there with stock gears, whatever they come in, as long as they're the same.
The Super Duty is a 373. I don't know what the 14 bolt is.
It's probably not 373.
I bet 410, but
yeah, probably.
oh well.
Either way,
Damn.
So yeah, I'm kind of looking into that.
sure.
Yeah, that's pretty much my.
And you can always get
That's what the winter's good for is
Yeah, you can
starting
always-
to stock up
Yeah,
on
now
parts and
the
swapping
Jeep's still
shit
sitting
out.
on the trailer, dirty as shit. I didn't even need to like really power wash it now. I need to get a pump ordered. Probably within the next week or two, I'll get a pump ordered so I can drive it off of the trailer.
Mhm.
Then I'm gonna start. I should start listing all my parts for the 30 and 88 now. That way, if there's somebody who is interested, I can say, hey, this will all come off soon, or like January.
Yeah,
you know,
January
like
1st,
list
you
all
can
my
have this
extra
stuff.
parts now, like my clean axle with a truss. List all that.
You just
Probably-
make one post with a bunch of stuff, and just
Mhm.
next to the axles in there, but like for sale after Jan 1st or something.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
or yeah, like if anybody's interested in a matching set of 410 gear, low pinion.
exactly.
30,
that way,
whatever,
if
yeah.
somebody sees it, they go, "Oh, I want those." Oh, not till January. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
save.
But
this
it'll
and
come
wait.
with wheels, tires, everything.
Yeah,
so.
essentially a
Well,
drop.
plus
in
that
ready.
might help you give the motivation to go, okay, get this shit out of here.
Well,
now.
yeah, I'm basically gonna try to buy all the parts.
And then I'll help bankroll you too.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to buy as many parts as I can for the axles that
Yeah.
I can get start making progress
Mhm.
on. Then all the little shit that I don't need, like probably new shocks, just kind of little stuff, like I said.
Especially if somebody's ready to buy
drive
the
shafts.
stuff. It
Basically,
helps you.
probably what's gonna happen is the axles and tires are gonna cover my drive shaft costs,
Mhm.
and then like a little bit other stuff that I
Yeah.
pay out of pocket, I'll try to recoup.
Yeah,
There's gonna be a lot of out of pocket costs, but
right.
I'm trying to kind of figure out the best thing
Yeah.
for me currently.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. A lot of
Yeah.
little shopping around and stuff.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't really think anything else crazy happened.
Happened
I'll let you
over
guys
the
talk
weekend.
if there's anything.
Well, I
good.
mean,
Marcus had some
finally-
stuff. I know. Sorry.
Well, yeah. So Saturday I'm at work doing my thing because that's
Mm-hmm.
I never stop working. Whatever. And the boss comes in. He's like, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I'm like,
the one day I don't have to see you,
I'm like, nothing that I know of. He's like, we might be going to Michigan.
I think I saw what you went to Michigan for.
You probably did. Well, I know Marcus did because I showed him,
Yeah.
but you probably did too because it's the only thing new here. But
Yeah, it's sitting out in the open. I'm like, oh,
Well, I
hey,
wouldn't say
this.
new.
I'm like,
new
I don't
to
know.
you guys.
I walk by it. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I can't wait to find out.
yeah, and you're finding out. So he's like, well, he's like, because so it's a automatic cold saw.
Mm-hmm.
It has two sets of clamps, so you could set basically a limit switch stop, so it'll cut the same length part automatically. It'll
Oh,
cut,
yeah.
cut one, move it forward, cut one, move it forward, and it'll run that until the stick's gone. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
we have a lot of little jobs that it's like, hey, cut 1,400 pieces 2.5 inches long.
Yeah, where if you put a 20-foot stick in and let it do its thing, you can go do something else.
You can literally
Yeah.
start it, go do something else,
Mhm.
go come back, put a new stick, and run it. Well,
Yeah.
there was one for sale in Michigan, about 4.5 hours away, for $8,500.
Mm-hmm.
New, they're like 30 grand.
Yeah.
It's a guy who was running essentially a race shop and retired and is selling off his stuff. It's like perfect. Well,
Mhm.
he was in Florida for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So my boss had like texted him again. He's like, well, I can just have someone else meet you there. It's like, yeah, that's fine. Like, we'll go tomorrow for all that matters. Fuck it. So he's like, I want to get up there and back, get up there before Chicago traffic.
Mm,
Because you're going to the Michigan right on the lake, essentially. So you have to cut through Chicago and Gary no matter what.
yeah.
He's like, I want to get up there, before traffic, and the way back just is what it is.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. You accomplished your goal.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, like he's like, let's leave at like 5:30, 6 o'clock
In the morning?
in the morning.
Ugh.
I'm like, okay, 5:30 or 6 o'clock. Like, I live here. I'm gonna get up 5 minutes before we leave. He's like, oh, I don't know yet. I'm like, well, you're here now. Figure it out.
I'm going to
because-
call you at 5:31 and go, where are you?
Yeah, it's like I will be ready whatever time you say. I just need to know which time it is.
Or honk really loud so I know the cue to like wake
Yeah.
up and come downstairs.
He's like, okay, like 5:45 on the road by 6. I'm like, that's fine. At least I have some number to go off of.
Mm-hmm.
So
How late did he show up?
No, he was on time.
Oh, good for him.
He's pretty good about. Well, he doesn't show up to work on time. He shows up 8:30, 9, 10, and kind of just whenever, and leaves early. You know, he's one of those guys when he owns the business, but he rolls in. So we decided instead of taking a truck and a trailer, we'll just take our flatbed. We've got a 2017 F350 single cab flatbed dually.
Nice.
The problem is it rides like ass because it's a
Until you get weight on it.
until
Yeah.
you put weight on the bed because it's a flatbed dually fucking.
So it's got
F250.
no weight on the ass.
Doesn't have enough weight for the amount of leaf spring it has. We'll have to
Yeah.
look at it on the way out because it's fucking
Yeah, it's-
beefy.
2 feet of leaf spring.
It
Like
is-
just stack on stack on stack.
It is annoying with no weight on it.
Christ.
Yeah.
So we debated whether we take a trailer or not, and if it fit in the regular crew cab bed or not. We're like, fuck it, we'll just take the flatbed, drive it. Well, it was, as you would expect, basically miserable.
Down I-80 for the most part.
It's 80 up to 94 to 194, and then Highway 31 the rest of the way, basically. The actual route wasn't bad. It was just like, oh, hey, towards Chicago, the road just falls apart.
Yep.
It's fucking miserable in
Yeah.
a truck with no weight on it.
Yep. And it doesn't really clear up till about halfway through Indiana
Till you get
when you're
past-
basically in Michigan.
Until you get past Gary. Oh, and I was...
Yeah.
So when we were talking about leaving, I'm like, did you account for Indiana's time change? He's like, nope. I'm like, as soon as we cross into Indiana, we gain an hour. So we'll be an
Yeah.
hour late if we leave, He's like, whatever, it's fine,
Yeah.
And as we cross into Indiana, I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, any minute now, any minute, like, didn't change at all. Because Gary is on Chicago time. It literally has
Oh, that's
it has
right.
a perfect notch.
But once you get into Michigan, it changed.
it never changed for us until we got to the guy's house, and it immediately changed.
Weird.
It must have just been our phones like, you're moving. We don't know what's going on. 'Cause
Yeah,
we're right on the
maybe.
lake. It might think we're still in
Oh,
mold time,
gotcha.
but
Yeah, maybe.
it's like,
Weird.
did you account for that? No. I'm like, well, it happens. And then it just didn't happen the whole way. I'm like, man, I hope we get there and it's 11, not 10, because that's
Yeah.
when they're supposed to meet us. Get there. It's the guy's daughter and like the guy who lives next door. Like normal people. Like she had actually ran the saw. She was pretty cool. Showed us kind of how it worked, but didn't know because hadn't ran it in 10 years, whatever.
Fair enough.
It's like, yeah, fuck it, we'll take it. Load it up on the flatbed, drive home. Really nothing too eventful on
How
the
did
drive.
you load it? Was it standing up?
So it's got it was standing up. They've got like 2 forklifts, a little Yale and the bigger like gasoline powered one, not propane.
Yeah.
Thought that was weird, but
We have one. I think it's a Heister.
it might be a
And,
Heister actually, yeah. But
It's a Chevy 4.3 liter,
I would assume it's
but
something.
like actually gasoline. It was the one we had in Joliet.
Yeah, it's probably about the same as that one. So
Just as I've probably the worst type. Like propane
Propane's
revs
great.
a lot faster. More instant power. Whereas this one, like if you're lifting stuff and you have to like give it throttle to lift it, it takes a while to get the pressure.
RPMs up
Yeah.
to get the
Whereas
pressure
like
going.
running on propane, it runs smoother and faster, and there's
because it's
it
it's an
ignites-
actual
it-
fucking forklift.
well, it ignites so much faster, and it like
'Cause
there's
it's-
more instant power. It seems like
it's
so
clean burning.
Yeah.
And it always has pressure ready
Yes.
to run. Basically, as soon as you tap it, it just lets more in. It works
yeah.
great.
So seemed a lot. It's pretty boggy compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
So.
So it's a forklift that's almost too small for this thing.
Mhm.
Like the forks barely reach through it. Trying to load
Yeah.
it into the center of a flatbed that's wider than it. So
Ooh,
Yeah.
you're just inching it
So
forward.
we would pick it up there, set blocks on it, and then like push it with the forks a little bit, and then try to lean it up and slide the blocks and push it a little bit. Like we pushed it at one point, and one of the middle block or the block on the edge slid all the way to the middle, where it was like about to tip over on the bed.
Lord Jesus.
I'm like, okay, stop there. And he's like, okay, whatever. And he's like, oh, if I knew the block moved that far, I would have stopped already. I'm like, well, it moved that far. but
Yep. Here we are. Yeah.
Christ.
Strapped it down, wrapped it in saran wrap,
wrap.
just to kind of keep everything clean. Of course, the thing's covered in fucking chips and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like, I feel
Oh, yeah,
bad.
that thing needs a total degrease.
I feel bad for any car that was behind us because we had to be fucking just raining stuff on them. But
fuck them.
so started heading back. Ate at Red Robin. It was average.
Mediocre, yeah.
It tastes exactly like Red
Yeah.
Robin.
I think the last time I had it, I was probably 12 or 13, and I was down in South Carolina with my family down there.
I probably hadn't had it since 16 or 17.
It was, I mean, yeah, we went there for the shakes, but we also ate food there. So it was like, yeah, like I had a mediocre burger or whatever and a decent shake.
Yeah. I'm like,
Red Robin.
I'm like,
mediocre.
Mid.
I'm like, oh, it's supposed to be good. I'm like, oh, it was food. Like it's steak and shake.
It was
quality.
edible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, steak and shakes. I remember eating fucking 7x7s from there.
Disgusting.
Dripping grease everywhere.
But yeah, and then got back at, I don't know, 4 o'clock or whatever. Like,
That's not bad.
not too bad. I mean, it's a decent looking little machine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's not bad.
No.
I guess I didn't really look at like how the legs were situated and shit.
Yeah, it's like on blocks.
Yeah, it's
just,
not bad.
Like, it's strapped with loops through the end of, like, there's little tie down hooks on the end. There's a flat plate with holes in them bolted on. And I'm like, I brought the lifting straps that we normally use to pick stuff up. And I'm like,
Oh, I see that. And then it's down to the strap that goes over the box.
yeah, the straps are pulling the lifting straps out
Yeah.
and down. It's a very,
I see how you did that. That is intriguing.
because there's no other way to hook to these loops.
No.
Mhm.
And this is all just thin sheet metal, so there's nothing to really, like,
Hold
Crank
grab
on.
onto.
there's nothing to attach it to.
Yeah.
So I just thrown these straps in there in case we need to lift it weird. I'm like, well, fuck it. Okay. Like, ran it up through one, back down through the other, and then ran the strap through both of them. Like, never moved. Turned out pretty good, actually.
Nice.
But
How'd you get it off? Did you just pick it up with a forklift?
yeah, we picked it up with our forklift and then set it on a pallet so we can actually move the thing around. But cleaned it up and it's all fucking.
Oh, you
it's-
got her all clean now?
It's way better now.
Nice.
Yeah, they spent the week cleaning it up, but
I mean, hey, it's for what you guys paid for. That's a decent little machine.
for $8,500 and they're 20, 30 grand new. Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Sweet.
It's got a counter on there. You could set if you want 50 parts, it'll make exactly 50 parts and then turn off. Like, it's cool. It's made by OMP out of Italy, so half the fucking instructions are in Italian.
Fucking
So I'm
Google
like,
Translate.
God damn it. So I've been translating stuff and finding the manual for it. It's like a 60-page manual. But
Oh, that's nothing.
Sick.
60 pages, Christ.
Yeah, I'm
That's
like-
the introduction to my manuals.
yeah, I'm like, oh, my day off? Sweet. And it's like, hey, actually. And I'm like, okay, another weekend of working fucking an extra 9 hours.
Hey, you were in a truck. You got paid.
I
it-
sat
it
in the
could have
passenger
been
seat and got
worse.
paid. Yeah, I'm not going to complain, especially on overtime pay for that. Yeah, I'll take it. But it's like, oh, yay, let's go to Michigan. Whatever. Wasn't doing anything anyway.
Might as well be making money.
But yeah, we're going to let that thing sit and collect dust for another fucking month before we ever hook it up because fuck it. That's why. Because it's 3
Well, because you don't have anywhere to fucking put it either.
We're thinking
Oh,
we're going to
shit,
put it.
Yeah, where the hell would you guys?
We're going to try to put it where the pallet racking is in the big shop right now. So the pallet racking's up against the sidewall.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to take the pallet racking out because it's basically worthless anyway. It's just got garbage stacked on it at this point.
Yeah.
Like tables and chairs that we don't use here and wheels and tires that are for cars that aren't here.
So he's just going to put it up at his house.
we haven't,
what he
we haven't
should do.
decided yet, but we're going to consolidate
he
most of that
does have
stuff.
space.
Yeah.
Not a ton of space.
I mean, the racking would be nice.
he has
Yeah.
small racking there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're probably going to take all that stuff out and then put it against that wall
Mm-hmm.
because that way we can still get material to it nice and easy.
Yeah.
You can just watch it run over there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, instead of in the other
Yeah,
building.
there's
Yeah.
no room in the other building. It's
I was thinking if it was going to go where the bandsaw was, it's like you got to like stop what you're doing, walk all like you basically have to make like time it out to where you make sure it runs through the stick.
exactly.
And
I would have
then-
to stop what I'm doing, walk all the way back there. and
Yeah,
be
where
like,
you can just glance at it and be like, "Oh, it stopped."
Yeah.
Instead of you
That-
like,
just
"Hey,
set
this
a
is going to take
security
an
camera
hour."
up.
Well,
But yeah, having it on that side where you can just,
I just look
oh,
over.
it's done.
I just like,
yeah.
oh, it's
Or
stopped.
there's an error.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I'm pretty sure that machine would just crash before throwing an error.
It's
'cause
all limit
switches.
It's all limit switches and pneumatic. So
Yeah.
if it doesn't zero out the limit switch for something, it'll probably just freeze. But
Mhm.
yeah, I can't.
Oh,
imagine.
that's true.
It'll probably just jam the
there's
cylinder
probably-
into something
yeah.
until it breaks. But
Eh.
it might give you enough time. You're like, hey, that sounds kind of funky. Let me see what that is.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like a 4 horsepower motor for the saw blade.
Fuck
Like,
yeah.
it's beefy.
She's a
so
ripper.
it'll be interesting playing with that eventually.
Sick.
But yeah, it'll probably go right there.
Yeah, be a good spot for it.
Yeah, it'll be good for repeat parts. 'Cause
Mm-hmm.
my boss found it on Marketplace. He doesn't quite do research on stuff like the rest of us do.
I never would have guessed.
Because I'm like, he like looked it up once, like found the website for it. And he's like, okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we showed up assuming it was a CNC auto mitering machine.
Christ.
It is neither of those things. It is not CNC. It is manual limit switches.
Mm-hmm.
So it's analog. It does not auto miter. You have to turn the blade every time.
Mm.
I'm like, huh. I'm like, you don't know anything about this thing. Like, we just drove fucking 9 hours total for a machine you didn't know about.
Hey, man.
Sick.
I prefer analog shit
Oh, I do too.
because it's up. That's fucked up.
But
It's so easy to trace things.
yes.
But when you think you're getting a good
Well,
yeah, enough deal,
true.
and it's
I still think you guys
exactly
got a bitchin'
opposite.
deal for that
oh
thing.
no, it's a great deal. We arrived thinking it was something else because he didn't know what we were looking at.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of parts where we make like frames for stuff with weird miters and stuff. Like, oh, we can write a program to cut this because it's one whole stick makes one set of table bases. There's 2 bases in it. They're mitered at like 48.5 and 41.25, like some weird thing to make us like a leaned out rectangle, a trapezoid. So he's like, oh, we'll just write a program and make those easy. I'm like, this is great. Get there, and it's like, oh, it doesn't do any of those things. I'm like, this is
You great.
set
it up, you run however, you just a little bit more math involved.
But well, we already do it on the bandsaw. I'm not gonna get rid of the bandsaw.
No,
so
bandsaw is still great for doing small stock stuff.
for anything that needs a miter, we're gonna use that saw still the same way we have been. But it's like for stuff where you're making 1,000 cuts straight in a row, like, it'll be ideal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Nice.
Yeah.
So that'll be neat. Get to play with that.
Well, so that was your week was work, and then that I'm assuming
That's
nothing really else.
That's all my week is fucking work bullshit. Except for Monday. Monday, Marcus stopped by to work on the Subaru because it needed an exhaust because it was dumping underneath the floor pan, and
We love that.
Not ideal.
It wasn't bad. It just like, you kind of just during our trip, I just got used to it, and I'm one of those people who just drives with the driver's side window down all the time.
Weirdo.
I don't know. I like it. So like
I like it.
I
think it's
constantly hear wind rushing past my ears, so other sounds.
You're almost tuning it out.
Basically,
Okay.
we'll go back to you after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'll get into it. Go ahead.
So, driving now that it's starting to get cold and we're back home, it's, I drove it from Ottawa back and I'm like, I'm sick of this.
Now that you have the windows up, and
Yeah.
it's just
It's
drone.
just drone noise inside. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like we need to put an exhaust on this to some point.
Mhm.
Ain't gotta be, I'm not gonna go and spend $140 on a OE exhaust muffler. I'm just
when it doesn't need
get it out
Out
past
of-
the bumper.
Get out of the cabin area.
Yes.
Make it way better.
And I think like 2 times when we were driving it, Tori's like, I smell exhaust. I'm like, yeah, it's because I just had to floor it up this hill. She's like, this smells like shit. And I'm like,
Yes, it does.
it's great, but it's starting to get old.
Mm-hmm.
So
So did you a stock replacement or
fuck no, glass
hell.
pack.
Upgrade,
Cool.
baby.
Wait. So wait, what did you replace on it? Just at
Where
the
the
bumper?
rear muffler was missing, we
Yeah.
just extended that out to the
Oh,
bumper.
I thought it was leaking under the floorboards too.
It is, but we
It
didn't
is,
fix that.
but
Where the like downpipe from the cat flanges to
Yeah.
where the muffler flanges,
Yeah.
that leaks too.
Yeah, that's where mine did. I cut all that out and put a clamp and then
I
just a-
might do that.
it was like a
fuck.
2.5 down to 2,
Mhm.
and then that's where the clamp goes to because
Yeah.
it did that anyway where the flange was. But I also had to figure out where to put a clamp, so
Yeah.
I welded the chunk of pipe to the one side and then just clamp. That way, instead of using 2 clamps, I just used the one.
Right.
It's not
But
bad right now. Maybe in the future I'll fix that because like the driver's side of that flange, if you look up underneath there with a flashlight, you can see the soot build up.
Mhm.
So it's
not
like
terrible, but
I could
Yeah.
maybe get up
is
underneath
it the one that
there.
has the springs on the bolts?
Yes.
Yeah, that was how mine was.
So it's like
Yeah.
I could maybe get up underneath there and tighten that up and hopefully clamp that flange back together.
but
Or if I snap the bolt, I'm just gonna go get
cut it, put a pipe
a straight
expansion,
pipe and just be done.
put it back together.
Yep.
But I mean, over
So-
the drone from it dumping underneath the
It's
back.
so much. So I did a speed test basically with a decibel meter, and I was running like 72
I
dB
think
in
it
the
was like
cab.
76 or something.
Or 76 was my peak.
was your original.
So 76 at highway speeds,
Mhm.
which was 80 mile an hour according to the
According to
speedo.
yeah.
And it was only 75 actual speed.
Mhm.
That's moving on the highway.
Mm-hmm.
It's decent. It was at 76 decibels.
Mhm.
When we got done and finished, it was at 68.
Yeah, which is a noticeable
And
noticeable difference.
I just did another fix today that helped kill the fuck out of the wind noise. So we can talk about that too.
okay.
Take
Which-
off the roof rails.
No.
No,
Very interesting. So go ahead and we'll
you know, show the exhaust.
yeah,
off
we'll
first.
show up the exhaust.
Yeah,
Is it a
It's-
clip?
This came out very clean. I was actually kind of happy with my thought process on this.
A
So
tip.
Oh yeah, you like it was stainless steel, and Brian was like, "Well, just fucking hit it with
a map gas.
map gas." So I did.
Because he
And
got two different tips. One of
Mhm.
them was black, but about twice as long
It was
as they usually
massive.
are. You know, and the other one was stainless and short enough that we could
12
actually fit
bucks.
it. He's like, I don't know, I might paint it black. I'm like, just take the map gas torch and fucking colorize
Color
the
it.
end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Might have went a little overboard and turned it brown.
Man, it'll be
But
fun.
well.
we got the end nice and blue.
Looks neat.
And, it looks
It
interesting.
came out
nonetheless.
a lot better than what I've
Mm-hmm.
done in the past
Mhm.
with exhausts, and it's on actual hangers with actual
Yeah, I had
rubber isolators in there and
I had to
everything.
make custom hangers and weld them to it
I see
because
that,
there's
yeah.
nowhere to put them. So I
So-
just took a piece of half-inch rod, bent the end, curled the other end over,
Mm-hmm.
slid it through the hanger, and welded it to the pipe. Like,
There you go.
I'm
I
very
was-
happy with how it came out.
I was shocked how thick the material is on the outside of that exhaust. I expected it to be paper thin and burn right through.
Mm.
No, it held up great.
I'll say that weld looks pretty nice.
Yeah, it actually worked way
Considering
better
it was
than
a
I was-
half-inch thick rod, and it looks like it was pretty good penetration between
Oh,
both
yeah.
Yeah.
the actual glass pack and the rod.
But yeah, no, it
Yeah.
turned out nice. Got, actual exhaust all the way to reconnect it. Like,
Mhm.
everything fit up good. Everything just kind of went together nicely.
Yeah.
Sick.
Turned out good.
So yeah, it was pretty great.
Can't wait to go smack that off. Shit.
Smack that.
All on the
So
floor.
my other fix that I found, which if you want to pull up the
I'm already-
video
Oh,
or the sorry,
I
not the
say you
video,
didn't send me a
picture.
video.
So I was having a lot of the other one. There's two of these.
They're the same picture.
Well, they are, but they aren't. So this is how I tried to find the term for what this piece is because it's an actual like cast piece or an aluminum piece down below, and then
Mhm.
all this gusset.
Okay.
So this is the window gusset because they're frameless windows. So what happens over time is as you push the door from the window,
Mhm.
it spreads that
Mm.
open.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so the rubber stops sealing against the window. So this is what it looked like before.
Mhm.
And you literally take a clamp and clamp the metal back together ish.
Basically, the rubber drip edge around the window.
So it's a rubber drip edge and then plastic, but then in the center of it where the actual side mirrors bolt to and from,
Mhm.
it's metal.
Sure.
So you clamp that metal back and it pulls the drip edge in. So it's sealed so much more. On the right here, I got it back up to highway speed. Minimal fucking wind noise. Now it's all just like rattling in the cab noise and
Yes, it's all the other loose parts in the car.
So
Now, when you say
Nice.
clamp, do you mean this floor vise that's just laying?
oh yeah.
Did you pick up a vise and
Yep.
turn it onto
Oh
there?
my
Yep.
god.
Hey, I used a rag. It was all that I had at work.
I'm sorry, you used a rag. I should have
Oh.
never questioned you.
I used a rag,
Yeah.
put it over top, but because I don't have C clamps at
No,
work.
honestly, that works great. Like, I've done shit like that all the time.
So
when,
yeah, I just used that and just
using tools the way they aren't intended works
it's
out great.
fine. It
most
worked
of the time.
fine.
Yeah, but
So,
you're like,
yeah.
oh, clamp it. I'm like, sure.
Did
C
that.
clamp, vice grip, something, anything other than a fucking bench vice.
It's all I had. I had an hour to kill at work, and I was like, well,
You're like, damn, I'm on the clock. What could I do? You're like, let me fix my
well,
car.
okay. So long story short, the main issue that I've been dealing with at work now is our phone system's voicemail. So it's two different things. We have a
A phone system and a voicemail
IP
system.
management, and we have a voicemail client.
Right.
That voicemail client, I don't know why it does this. If I try to open up the program, it opens,
Mm-hmm.
but the UI for it just never shows up.
Okay. Weird.
So I have been trying to get the voicemail fixed, and I actually made it worse today, which pissed me off. For 4 days now.
Are you sure you're an engineer?
Yes.
Are you engineering your fucking limit?
I'm engineering my fucking limit. It's an Avaya phone system, which everybody
Cringe.
hates because it's a piece of
Cringe.
shit. And I think the last time I called for them for service just to get a quote, it was $600. And that
Not
was
your money. Fucking spend it.
and that was because a phone was not ringing when dialed directly.
Call them. Send them. $600
So,
bucks. Fuck it.
I'm gonna
Easy money.
see. Nobody leaves voicemails for us anyway. And like
Well, yeah,
like all
but-
the salespeople never use their desk phones. It's all on their cell phone.
Yeah, that's how business works.
So
now,
there's one person in the office that's complaining that her voicemail is down.
and it's the only person who cares.
Yeah. Well, and this is the like third phone that she's had a problem with. So I think she may be messing with something.
Just go get a burner phone from Walmart. Get a fucking Samsung A12 for like
I'm
$100
about
bucks.
getting ready to tell her to just. I'm gonna set WhatsApp up on your phone, and you can deal with it that
You
way.
could do it like that.
Because like to a certain point, I understand you don't want everybody having your personal phone, but like, how hard is it to go to
A cell phone just works.
well, or your cell provider and be like, I need my number changed.
yeah,
like,
change it to this.
I get it, that sucks, but like, come on. I've been with the company for 4.5 years, and everything's ran off my cell phone.
Yeah.
So
So you've been fighting.
yeah,
that all
I
week.
got done with that at like 4:30, and I was like, well, I got an hour and 15 minutes to kill, and everybody's gone, so I'm gonna work on the Subi.
I'll go wait for something to go wrong.
Yeah, well, I was just outside in the parking lot, so
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
it was fine. Yeah. So I got my wind noise down, the exhaust fixed, did an oil change,
About time it needed
Castrol Edge, high mileage, full synthetic.
it. Fair.
Let me tell you, draining the oil out of that thing, out of the oil pan,
Mhm.
is a bitch.
Because there's like an axle in the way.
No,
No.
Wait,
because
what?
I'm used to, of course, Chevys. So
Cringe.
the drain plug is the lowest part of that oil pan,
Mm-hmm.
and on these Subarus, it's
It's on the side.
a bowl, and here it is on the side.
Yeah, that's how most oil pans are. They're
So
on the
I
side.
like-
that way stuff doesn't hit them off the bottom.
Which is, I get it, I understand, but it's like it's
You should
just sitting there
You should
dripping.
see my old pan and my new, and the one that's currently in it.
Oh,
They're
I'm-
both smashed.
I'm sure.
And the one before for the Washington trip, it was so dented with rocks.
yeah, if they were on the bottom, it would have cleaned that drain plug
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, it would have just broke the bolt head off.
So I was at Jason's doing this, and nobody was home, so I was just like, all right, kind of like, it's still pissing out. Ah, fuck it. And I got the floor jack, and I jacked the side of the car up so it would drain faster. I was like,
Force more of it out.
I just wanted to get as much of it out reasonably as I could.
right.
Fun fact,
So-
I still haven't changed oil in mine.
Oh,
Hey, me neither.
Jesus.
Oh wait.
Oh,
wait
wait.
a minute.
Wait a minute.
Well, I just started driving mine again.
hey, I
Oh,
haven't.
and here's the worst thing that I found out
Ooh.
when we were doing the exhaust.
Mm.
Mhm.
My
Milkshake brings out a
no, my
I don't know how you had that ready
B
to go.
trip
As soon as I heard my.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. that's right.
resets every single time you disconnect the battery.
Oh yeah, because it's digital.
It's a digital
Yeah.
trip.
Damn.
We unhooked
So-
it to weld the exhaust on because I'm like,
Mhm.
just because.
Yeah.
And I had that trip B set from when we left that campground in
Yeah.
Vermont.
And it's gone forever.
And
All
it's
right.
gone
Hey,
forever.
but you know how
which
many
sucks,
miles
but
you
whatever.
bought the car with? So
Yeah,
the
it's
same.
on the
Yeah.
It's the same,
in
but not
transit
the same.
permit. I was like,
Mm.
oh,
Gay.
damn.
Serves you right for wanting your car fixed.
Yeah, I guess. So
Just
we're
cut-
getting there.
Oh,
Cut
well.
the whole exhaust off.
It's little bits and pieces. I think my next big-ish thing is I want to do the rear brakes and then plugs, wires, and just a coil pack.
just
gonna
to
say fuck it,
refresh
yeah.
everything.
Well, not
I
that
have
there's
a- oh, no, I
anything wrong
returned
with
it.
it.
And they're probably different anyway.
They
for
probably
2.5.
are
I
different.
doubt it.
The coil pack's probably
Coils
the
are
same.
probably the same.
Probably.
Coils and wires.
Probably.
But what happens is
I have a
is
spare.
coil pack.
Yeah.
Is
I
it-
had two.
But is it new?
I had a brand new one that I returned. Or no, actually I had a used one that I returned and I kept the new one because I had a receipt for one of them.
Christ.
And how it was like $70 and it was because I had replaced it because that was the misfire on the old engine. So I'm like, I have one on the motor that came out of the junkyard.
Mm-hmm.
I have a brand new one in the box I have a somewhat new one that I'm currently running, and I had a brand new one in the box.
out of the box. To put
So
the
yeah,
old one in the box.
I put the slightly used one back in the box and returned it to O'Reilly's for
I mean, it was
$70 back.
probably still under warranty. It's fine.
And I was like, yeah, I just like the motor blew up before I got a chance to put it on, and they were like, okay, cool, returned
Yeah,
it.
they don't care.
So I have the one that's currently on it is the slightly used one, and then I have a spare that was on the engine running. It worked okay. That was in the sun from the junkyard because it didn't have a hood on it when I got the motor. And I'm like,
Interesting.
fuck it, I got two working ones right now. Yeah,
So-
I thought it was funny though because I had three at one point. I'm like, where did all these fucking come from?
I don't
What happened?
need all these. Why are
So
you
Yeah.
here?
it's I don't have a misfire or anything. It's just if I go to start it, it'll rev up and it'll rev down and die.
Mhm.
And then you go to crank it over again and it'll start right up.
Well, so
And
with
that's-
mine
Probably not spark related.
is
Eh.
mine currently. like the first time I start it, it won't fire. Turn the key off, turn it back on, fires right away.
Yeah.
It's
So
probably-
it's either fuel pressure or spark.
Oh, also there.
And I'm guessing that
I should look at your throttle body to see if you have the adjustable throttle position sensor, because that was my problem. Is I had a bad one of those because when you were driving
look
down
at that after the podcast.
when you were driving down the road, it would like I don't have cruise control, so I can't even set cruise. So my foot would just be steady, and it would just lose. It would just lose power and then come back.
Weird.
Like literally, like it would just drop down to like idle and then come back. Like I'm like it was losing connection or something. Turns out it was just a bad sensor itself.
Interesting.
It's also very finicky to dial it in. Like there's also the only way to do it is by ohms, but you also have to take out the computer and like prod the wires to get the ohm reading off of it to get the actual proper
Yeah, what the
state-
ECU wants.
instead of what everybody else in the Facebook group says.
Yeah.
When it idles smooth, you got it right. I'm like, well, fair enough,
There's
and that's
only
what I've
one-
done.
So
one
that's
spot.
the other thing too that I've
Basically,
kind of
yeah.
noticed. If you crank it and let it idle, it just sits there and
Is your AC running?
No. And it just kind of bounces.
It might be your throttle position sensor.
your-
I
or-
have a spare one of those.
I
too.
haven't gotten that far into it because it's not a
Or-
crazy thing.
or it could be the air idle control valve.
Yeah.
Mm,
There, There's some tweaks that
Yeah.
need to be.
Yeah.
She runs great. She'll crank right up unless
Second try every time.
It's just Subaru things. It's
Not
what makes a
every
Subaru a
time.
Subaru.
one out
That's
of
what you're
probably
dealing with now.
20
Yeah,
times it'll die.
non-reliability.
Exactly.
So we're getting there.
Dialing it in.
Yeah.
Just little stuff.
Well, and it's like, we did buy it from a salvage place,
junkyard.
whatever
Put
the
some
fuck you
respect
want
And
to
the
call
previous owner before that was an old dude who,
it. Yeah.
if it doesn't work, then don't fix it.
Exactly.
Or, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
So it's just some like little tweaks, like
Yeah.
the noise in the cab and
Little
she
stuff.
needed an
It's
oil
just-
change.
It's just time and labor.
It's just digging down and going, okay, what is the actual issue? Of this?
Yeah.
So like I also get a check engine light for an evap leak, and it's like, okay, is it the actual solenoid that's bad, or is it just an old cap? Because it's the original gas cap on there.
Yeah.
So I'll put a gas cap on it, and if that's not it, I'll spend $26.99 and put a solenoid valve in it. Whoop-de-doo.
Just to get rid of the light. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, literally, the minute it comes up, because I left my blue driver in there,
Mhm.
I open it up, scan clear, and it's gone in 2
And it
minutes.
just comes back randomly. That's
That's
how
like my truck code is. I still
Yeah.
need to get a new, the fuck is it, MAF sensor?
Yeah. That's just how evap codes are. Is they'll come and
Yeah.
go. They're not
And it's like, ooh, evap. Although, the exhaust one is now gone.
the EGR code.
No, not my
Or-
EGR. It would come up with like catalytic converter bank threshold low or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it was just a pressure.
Or your cat
difference.
sucks.
Mm.
It's usually if your cat is used and it's starting to wear out, it'll just be like, rear O2 sensor read
Yeah.
bad cat's
So,
bad somewhere in there.
whatever. I went from 2 codes down to 1, and both of them are
Make 'em-
fucking stupid.
Making progress.
Perfect. Fuck it.
Because it's like one of my coworkers at work was she was talking to me about her. She's a Volkswagen Beetle,
Cringe.
and she was like, "Oh, it's complaining about some evap thing." I'm like, "Don't worry about that. That's fucking useless. That's for emissions. Nobody gives a shit about it."
It's a German car. The electronics just stop working at a
Yeah.
certain point.
Yeah.
It does not matter.
They haven't made a Beetle in like fucking 10 years.
I
so.
told her about your sand rail and how we blew it up, and it took us like 4 trips back and forth to
Okay,
Chicago
well.
to get the transmission right, and it still never worked.
No.
Yeah.
No, the guy who owns it now has never complained about it, but
Because he doesn't beat on it.
nobody drives the thing as hard as we did.
No.
I abused that thing.
I just remember
horribly.
we fixed. What the fuck did we fix?
We fixed a lot of things.
Well,
considering
we fixed a
everything
lot
was
of
broke
things,
on it.
and we took it out. And your brother was like, "All right, fucking dump it and start
Well,
and do a wheelie."
we had
and
just fixed.
bang.
We had just fixed the axle bearings and the
Ah,
rear,
that's right.
and
That's
just
right.
put the new clutch, or we just put the new clutch in. It was the
Yeah.
the like stage 3 equivalent, like stock pressure plate weight's like 1,400 pounds. This one I think was 2,100 pounds.
Yeah.
So it is twice the
Well,
gravity.
hey, the clutch
force.
held.
Clutch
the
held
gears
up.
That was
didn't.
great.
The gear exploded.
Yeah, the
And then
internal gear on the transmission did not.
And then I
No.
also told her about the time we almost lost all of our hearing when we were trying to.
We were setting timing on
we
it.
were setting the timing, and it blew the spring held
The
exhaust off.
yeah, setting the timing, and it was at 15 degrees after top dead center, not before.
Mm.
So it's like,
We're doing it backwards.
Bang! And it fucking picked the exhaust is held on with springs. We're all four going to the collector. It picked it up off all four springs and set it off to the side. It was unbelievably loud.
With no ear pro. It was horrible.
In the shop that echoes anyway.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was that was extremely loud.
Yeah, it was funny. She was like,
Nice.
man, that sounds like a horrible thing. I was like, oh, it was a great time.
It was hilarious. But yeah, that thing had more problems than most of the girls I've met.
So,
That's saying something.
so yeah, Subi's coming together a little bit by bit,
Yeah.
and we're getting there.
I'm
Yeah.
downsizing.
Congrats.
You losing weight?
About fucking
No,
time.
not that. No.
Fat
We
ass.
know that.
No, I have a Halloween party coming up. I'll be drinking all fucking Saturday.
Your
So
waving flavy arm and tuba man.
no, that was last year, or
Yeah,
2 years
I
ago,
know.
whatever it was. I got a new one. I'll save it.
I
though.
don't care. I hate Halloween. It's dumb.
Anyway, yeah. So I'm downsizing my fleet. I got the
Fleet
It is
one.
a
There's
fleet.
6 of them. Yeah,
And each sticker is $150
Yeah.
or more.
yeah, and 3 of them are due this month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have this Fusion is up for sale. I listed it officially like 2 hours ago, and I had a chuckle earlier when Marcus was starting to talk about the Subaru because I saw 43 messages waiting for me between 10 people.
People want this fucking car.
It's
And
it's
right.
listed very like reasonably, especially because it needs a $500 windshield.
You should update your listing and go highest
I don't
bidder.
know. I just if
not
it's gone
worth
this
it.
weekend, it's worth not getting extra
yeah, I
money
guess
for it.
that's fair.
I'm still only into it probably $2,200 maybe.
Maybe.
Like okay,
Well, how much is your posting for?
2,500 or best offer. And everybody keeps saying 2,200, but I'm like, I'm gonna get 25 because there's 12 of you asking for 2,200. So, but anyway, bought it for 1,300. By the time I plated it, it was 1,800. I have $300 in the exterior of it, bumper, doors. I just put $300 or $200, $270 of struts on it, and then and then I patched the tire, which was $20. So I'm into it. Not a lot of money. If the windshield was not bad,
Still in one piece?
I could have got $3,000 for it. But
Yeah.
the fact that it's
Damn
just
it. Jesus
mediocre.
Christ. You didn't even wash it?
It's currently wet. That is washed.
Yeah, this is after it's washed.
Yeah.
It looks like the pictures make it look way
Yeah,
nicer.
the interior,
Oh, yeah.
the interior actually does look very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Besides the dirty floor mat, but
Man.
like I shampooed the fucking seats. The amount of dirt, physical dirt that came out of it, dude.
Oh, speaking of that, sorry
you
to
wanna
take
borrow
away.
it?
No.
The
So
dirt.
I spent 45 minutes taking all of that fucking sap off of the hood of that Subaru.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all finally
Disgusting.
gone.
Nice.
I literally took like 2 paper towel pieces, folded it up like 8 times, and just sat there and scrubbed. My mom
I
gave
have
me
a really
some-
good degreaser I could have.
My mom gave me some that she uses for a laser that
Mm.
cleans the soot
Oh,
off
that makes
everything.
sense.
That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Oh man, let me tell you. The worst part about it was you had to scrape the first like layer of it off to where it wasn't like sun baked and it was kind of gooey
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
sit there scrub.
You put some
Another
elbow grease
spray.
into
Oh,
it.
I literally was laying on the hood like lapping it basically. And it
Yeah.
ruined the paint, but whatever. Who gives
But so
a
I get to
Ruined the
deal.
paint,
I get to deal with all these marketplace people. Like I said, I've currently there's probably 15 people total who's already messaged me in the past 2 or 3 hours, I guess.
Marketplace is one of the
Um,
worst places. on
then-
that.
just cancer.
Yeah, but apparently somebody keeps bombing me with messages or something because I looked down and I started laughing because there was 40 some messages. I'm like, one of these dudes is just like I think they've all sent me like 5 messages, and there must be one dude who sent me like 20.
Yeah, in the 45 minutes we'd recorded, you're getting a message a minute.
I was like, yeah, so
Christ.
fuck me, I get to deal with that. But most likely it'll be gone. If I
could be
depends
gone
how much it
fucking-
rains tonight, but it sounds like some people are interested in it tomorrow. If not, for sure, probably by Saturday.
Yeah, you'd be like,
Nice.
hey, I've got 50 messages. Like, pay asking price or don't even buy.
Oh, and that's what I started telling people. I'm like, I have a lot of offers at 2,500. I'm not taking 22. Why
Yeah.
would I?
Yeah.
He's like, but I got 22 right now. I'm like, but
Then-
I'll get 25 in 3 days.
Then go to
Fucking idiot.
Then go to the ATM, get $300 out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
broke.
literally. Yeah.
So
not really worried
speaking
about
of
it, but
vehicles and modes of transportation and new things,
Okay.
I found out, Brian, if you want to pull up that link I sent
You
you,
did send me a link.
Ducati
Mm-hmm.
is now making
a Grom.
Even better.
a motocross bike.
A dual sport bike.
Yes.
Yes, I saw a video
That's
about
actually
it. It's
A
pretty
big
decent.
bodied one. 22.9. That's fuck. This is.
I mean, you have to remember this is a brand new 2024.
No, I know. But it's bigger bodied than like the
Yes.
Tenere 700.
Mhm.
It's and for 22.9, that is dead nuts pricing on the Harley, which is also their first off-road style.
Yes.
Dual sport
dual
adventure
yeah.
bike.
Now, I'm not too sure. I think before, if you scroll up, they had a Desert X. This is just their first Desert X rally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not too crazy sure on it. I haven't checked in it too much, but I mean, that's a good looking bike.
It's a very
Yeah.
interesting bike.
and it has a wet clutch.
Okay.
So
Like they
that's
all do.
that's
Yes, they
no,
most-
not all of them.
Or oh no, sorry, dry clutch. Or is
Yeah,
what
dry
Ducati's known for.
clutches are like known from Ducati, which I get it. It makes sense. I'm just not a big fan of it, but yeah, interesting little
I mean, for
tidbit.
23 grand, it's probably a super
Did I
nice
send
bike.
you the
Mhm.
spec sheet too? I think
No,
I
you're
sent you a link to
terrible.
it. God
You're
damn it.
bad at sending me stuff.
Well, just go on the website.
I am on the website. The website's just their website. Like, what do you want from their
hold on.
website? Like, this is what you sent me. It's just the website. There's nothing useful. What are you trying to find?
Right there.
Oh, you mean the thing you didn't send me? What do you?
Text specs.
Why didn't you send me this then?
did.
No. Oh, because it's all on the same page.
Yeah,
Yeah, you sent me a page that had no information on it.
It's stupid how that's laid out.
I had to
So
dig through 4 things to find it.
what is that one?
What do you want to know? Here's the tech specs. What do you?
937 cc's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
110.
110 horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean that's
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 pretty fucking
exact-
reasonable.
pretty
exact
standard.
competition
Yeah.
with the Harley.
Yeah.
I'll be
So
honest.
I'll be pretty.
Or actually, no. I think the Harley's higher cubic inch.
I think
Higher
it's
cubic
CC,
cubic
sorry.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, technically,
well,
both.
technically both. Yeah.
but
Six-speed, Ducati, quick shift. Oh yeah, quick shift compatible.
slipper and self-servo wet multiple clutch with hydraulic control. That'll be
That's
nice.
how every clutch is.
But yeah,
Interesting.
it'll be kind of interesting to actually see how this performs.
on a 21-inch wheel. Jeez.
21 and 17.
18. 21 and 18.
Ooh, tires might be harder to find with an 18.
Probably a little bit, but I mean, it's Ducati. You're gonna buy the fucking
Oh yeah, you're
whatever,
gonna buy their stuff.
whatever the tire they.
Well,
make
No,
with
I
that
know,
bike.
but
I mean, no offense to Ducati riders, but it's
yeah.
Oh, I need to take it to the dealership
5.5
to get serviced 3
Yeah,
times
but
a
if
year.
somebody actually does ride out of town and they're like, "Oh, I need a spare tire,"
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
18s
they're
are
gonna be
less
fucked.
common to find.
5.5 gallon tank. Got all sorts of fancy little things. but
Fucking, they got cruise control on that.
most
Goddamn.
bikes have cruise control now.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, I
pissed the
guess that's
Tenere
true.
doesn't actually.
USB power.
You just put a
socket or
throttle lock
something?
on
Yeah,
there.
that's the plan, but
You know.
still,
Put a foot.
it'd
pedal.
be nicer to.
You just
to
put a
use
foot
it.
pedal that wraps around the hand throttle and just like push it with your foot to twist it. You're like, it'll be fine, I'm sure.
A rope,
I'm
some
sure.
super glue. You're good.
If we're talking about a rope, we can make things happen. But
That's a weekend activity, Brian. Come on.
little strangle bait never hurt.
Strangle bait.
Look, man,
Christ.
just because
shit.
you put baby oil on a stool and slip once, it's fine. But
Wait, what's that about the guy in the jar and starting a war?
Oh,
jar man,
Jar man.
one guy, one jar started a civil war in his country.
Oh
That's a thing.
shit.
But
But yeah,
Anyway.
so I'll be kind of interested to see that. I thought that was a little
Yeah,
neat
I-
tidbit.
because it's close enough to the Tenere, I'm probably going to see information about it, like in the Tenere group.
I say it's probably very.
And it's priced at the
It's
Harley
priced
one.
Yeah.
It's
so-
priced like a Panamera or Pan America, whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever that actually is. It's priced like that, but it's more competitive with the
I
Tenere.
think. I don't know. The Tenere also doesn't look as big bodied as it is. So
No,
it
this-
could be like in the Super Tenere.
This is more of a probably touring adventure.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, the Desert X Rally is 22.9. The regular Desert X starts at 18.
yeah.
So
So,
it's-
I'm assuming it's like I said, it's the bigger body. It's going to be competitive with
Yeah.
the Super Tenere and the
This is a little
Um,
bit smaller, a little bit,
yeah,
a little bit lighter. Looking.
yeah. That
I
definitely
like
looks
that.
more Tenere 700.
Those wheels look way smaller too. Maybe it's just
Can
the
you
picture,
hit the
but
Saturn Gray, the other color option?
the-
I kind of want to see
the
what that looks like.
$500 color option?
It's fucking Ducati. They're gonna fuck you.
Oh, that's not.
Oh.
Red. That's black.
I actually
Well, hold on.
really like that.
Is it
Interesting.
just color? Oh, it is just
That
color.
just the
Fuck.
color's 500. Well, it's Ducati's Saturn Gray
Oh, I know.
GP
Well,
18 Gray Racing
And
Red.
I did see this that with the Desert X Rally, it's solid colored plastics all the way through.
Mhm.
because you can replace them.
Yeah.
probably.
Well, if you beat the shit out of them, it's not gonna bleed. But
Well, I mean,
yeah.
you'll bleed, but you know.
Oh,
But yeah, for
My
for
bones.
18 grand, that's actually a lot better price
Yeah.
for what you're getting. I don't know if those specs were for both of them, and one is just better than the other. You know,
Like I said, I think it's like the full body touring version
Yes.
versus the more off roady,
Yeah.
hardcore guy. So yeah,
I don't know. Kind of crazy that a well-known street bike manufacturer is coming out with.
getting into the dual.
well, I mean,
sport life.
I think it shocked the world that Harley did.
Yeah, that one was
Yeah.
great.
Granted, Harley's is a really full body one, but
Yeah.
they're also coming out with a like street rod version of that same engine. But
Oh,
like,
really?
But like street bike version.
Hmm.
Yeah, almost kind of like the what were they?
V-Rod?
Buell?
Or
No, the Buell
Oh, the
blasts.
Buell Thunderbolts and
Yeah.
Firebolts and stuff. Goofy ass stuff.
Those it's gonna be more like a open naked bike style concept, but the same engine. I think D-stroked like a 950.
Yeah,
though.
the Pan America is a 1250cc.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So,
it
yeah.
is they're probably very competitive price and performance wise.
Mhm.
'Cause they're-
To that new bigger Ducati one.
yeah, because they're
Yeah.
basically the same thing.
Yeah.
The Pan America starts at 20,400. So
Yeah.
by the
But
time you're
that's-
said and done,
Well,
you're probably,
there's the active ride height option, which is when you creep up to a stop sign, it lowers 3 inches or some
Oh.
shit.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's only like a 15. Or it's like a well, there's base or there's
Yeah.
ARH compatible.
they're
There's
packages.
it's one package or the other. There's no mixing of options.
Do you know the price difference off the top of your head?
like $1,500.
That's not bad.
yeah, there's the Pan America.
There's also laced wheels
God
option.
damn.
There's
You know, I am-
the laced wheels like dirt bike wheels, or there's solid aluminum wheels, which I hate the solid aluminum. The
Laced
lace
wheels
is so
are
much
so much
better.
cooler.
Oh yeah.
But I think that they're having warranty issues with the laced wheels because people are taking them off road and
'Cause
the,
people
the
are using
spoke
them.
break and pop the tube and you're flat now.
Using them like you would use a laced wheel.
I don't know.
So I want to say
I'm-
I've seen a lot of warranty issues.
I'm
with
not a
those.
Harley guy.
This
I
isn't a
don't-
Harley. I mean, it's,
Yeah,
Well,
it's-
yes,
yeah.
but it's still
It's
one of
cool
their
that they're
products.
branching out and doing
Yeah.
something
But
different.
that was
they
a
can only
nice
sell
looking
so
bike.
many fucking street glides and road
Yeah.
glides to 60-year-old dudes. The
It's
average
just-
age of a Harley owner is like 45 years
Oh
old.
yeah.
and the laced wheels are an extra $1,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, cast wheels are standard. Laced are
damn.
$1,000. Like,
Hmm.
there's your stock wheel.
Oh,
Yeah.
but that's not a bad looking stock.
Yeah,
Compared to the
but
lace?
Laced wheels look so
I
much
way
better.
better.
don't get me wrong. I like the
Infinitely
lace,
better.
but like compared to my beefy ass aluminum fucking
Your
rims.
cast aluminum wheel. but-
Yeah.
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 The ultimate Trekker package is $4,400.
Oh, that's all the
That's
bags and
everything.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just like say like from on the floor. There's two options. There's with active ride height, without, and then I guess the lace wheels also.
Yeah, that must be.
that must be an option because I knew that wasn't an option on the first couple model years. I must have changed it. They also did that to try to get less people to buy them, so
Could
they don't
be.
have to warranty as much either.
Yeah, there's only two options that lets. Maybe the website's just built weird, but it lets you
It probably is.
select a security option and a cruise control option. There's probably more like.
Oh, I'm sure it's the triple tree
I
is
would
different. And there's gonna be a key lock on it or
Mhm.
not.
Yeah, neither one of those cost more apparently, but
Mm.
I don't know what the. I'm sure when you actually order one,
Mhm.
there's a lot more like in-depth option you can actually work with them and see
Possibly,
what's
yeah.
what.
Still want my R1.
You don't though. You don't want
Buy a TW200 first.
Oh,
Come on,
he's-
that way we can
he's
cruise
right.
together.
He's right. Do
You're
it.
right. Yeah.
Do it.
so much cheaper.
Yeah, that's the
You're-
point.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
so much
Exactly.
cheaper.
Do that first.
Yeah,
I
that's
should.
it.
To where you're like, well, the 750 or whatever the fuck I have, and then a TW.
I
is
need a
also, it's like
fucking
two
garage
birds, one stone.
first.
That
You
too.
don't need a.
I
Just
do.
park
Hey,
it
I know a
on
guy
the
who'll
drive.
sell you a cheap shed.
Oh yeah.
I'm really
don't.
hoping he's gonna give me a cheap shed too.
I don't know who's sending a cheap
Remind
shed,
me
not
once
this
we
guy.
wrap up, and
that's
I'll
fine.
No,
we
you
can
won't.
I can walk you through the American steel side of stuff.
Yeah.
So I
Anywho.
just did a garage for my dad for the fire department.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice.
interesting.
Nice.
Decent.
Anywho,
And
yeah, I
you-
think
and
that's about it.
I think
about all
we've
you had
rambled
about
for a while.
your Ducatis. Yeah, I mean we're at an hour 38.
Ah, it's pretty
I'll
good.
just throw one thing in here real quick to end it off.
Oh boy.
It's not that exciting.
Oh, damn. Got my
So-
hopes up.
There is an app co-made by Louis Rossman called GrayJay. It's a
Okay.
terrible name for an app, but
And what's the purpose? What
So-
does it do?
it is right now it's only on Android because open source, whatever.
Yeah.
It is an open source app that combines all of your media libraries, or not media libraries, everything you watch video on and stuff into one platform.
So like
it's
YouTube plus.
so I'm gonna pull up the list
YouTube,
of
Okay.
Disney, Hulu.
the list of things that it does.
I'm assuming.
not like big stuff. But
I was gonna say, like, damn, all my streaming
so
platforms
it's got
all in one.
Twitch, YouTube, Odyssey, Kick, Patreon, Nebula, Rumble, SoundCloud, PeerTube, and Subscribestar are all in this first. They're on build like 180 right now.
Mm.
They've been building it for like the last year or whatever.
Hmm.
But like it's built like a YouTube player. It's got just generic,
But it just grabs everything from anywhere
It'll-
else, and it tells you in the bottom corner what you're.
it shows
watching
you
on.
which source you're on, whether you're on YouTube
Huh.
or on Twitch or on, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been using it this last week just to test it out and see like, does it function good? And it's fantastic.
Really?
Everything's ad free because it's all open source.
Mm.
It's each individual app has settings in it. Like you can log into your YouTube, pull all your playlists, all your subscriptions, and run it from there.
Gotcha.
Same thing with Twitch. You put in your credentials, it pulls who you're subscribed to, and it's
Nice.
basically seamless.
So it's basically like a giant video APK for
Every source, that you
every
would-
source that you give it.
and it's an open source project because Louis Rossman was one who's behind like he was a huge supporter of like Right to Repair and stuff.
Yep.
He's a big YouTuber and stuff, but he's
A
like,
great ideal of especially Right to Repair stuff. I've watched some of his videos, and he is the main example that I use for the reason why I just do not like Macs.
Mac. Oh, Mac.
Yeah,
As an
the-
Apple
the
product.
Apple
Mac.
product.
I'm like, who's Max and what do you have with him? Like,
MACS.
yeah.
Like I don't know how much of your stuff or his stuff that you've
I don't.
watched.
His stuff's very informative.
It is.
And if I'm watching something, I have enough time for like something entertaining.
Yeah.
So I don't get too drugged into it.
I remember there was a couple of them that I started watching where he was trying to do board repair on a couple of MacBooks, and
Mhm.
he was reading, what people had sent him when, he does his ticketing system for those items, and it's like, well, they told me I needed a new main board, and it's like, no, the guy who pulled your video cable for your display out
Mhm.
at the Genius Bar,
Broke
when
the
he
port.
went to put it back in, he fucked the wires up.
Oh.
So
I figured
it's
with a display port, he forgot to push the button and fucking ripped it apart or something.
no, so internally for
Okay, gotcha.
a laptop.
For a
so
header.
yes.
Okay.
So when he put it back in, it bent the very, very small pins. So it's
Mhm.
like I can do it for free and try and rebend the pins. If I can't do that and it doesn't work, it's like $12 for a cable.
Right.
You don't need a new motherboard.
Yeah.
Where do you live? Florida. Oh, where it's high humidity and you've tripped the humidity sensors on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing's wrong.
Yeah. It's literally it's little tiny stuff that Apple themselves don't want to replace. They'll replace the whole unit.
Well, because they're
easier.
trying to get more money out of you.
Yes and no.
Well, yeah,
They don't want someone with a repaired, refurbished device as much as they want them to have a new experience.
device. It's just it goes again into the whole ecosystem thing of it. Well, every year you need to buy the newest thing. And it's no, I don't. My shit works perfectly fine when you
Apple-
guys don't mess with
Apple
it.
is very good at long-term support. Like my mom had a 7 and it was still like getting updates regularly. And they're on a
I'll give 'em
15,
that.
But
I and just
their website is
Windows,
like
but good for him.
it's a very interesting. It's the back end is powered by Fudo TV, I think, or something.
okay.
So, but it's all open source project. Like
Good.
it's got all the stuff you want: background play, offline play, like everything. So far, everything has worked really good. It's got a bunch of baked in APIs, like return YouTube dislike is baked in. You can turn it on and off. Like,
Cool
it has its own YouTube like comment section.
thing.
So you can switch between platform, which would be YouTube's comments, and polycentric or it's some weird polycentric or something.
I think it's
But it's
polycentric.
only people who are basically using this app. It's their comment section.
Oh,
So there's like the YouTube everybody, and there's like the small group of people who
Gotcha.
are on that like
interesting.
smaller version.
I'll be casting's built in too.
It has open source
Wow.
casting and stuff, so you can cast ad free video up
Nice.
instead of like trying to cast from YouTube and
Yeah,
having
and
to
it
watch
being
ads.
a pain in the ass.
But yeah, it just
Huh.
came out like last week. It's been very impressive.
I'll
so
be
far.
very interested to see where this goes.
Yeah, I tested it this whole last week just to see. I'm like,
Is this actually good or not?
is it good? Are people just buying the hype? Like, I've had no issues with. There's the one thing that's I've had a problem with is fixed, kind of. So I don't like my screen auto rotating. So if I'm watching YouTube or whatever, I'll click the button and it'll rotate and I'll keep it there.
Yeah.
Like if you lean your phone, it'll flip the other way back and forth. I hate that.
I get like that. Like I'll be in the car and have my music playing, and I'll go to swap songs, and because I took a right turn, my phone has
You
switched, and it's
Leaned
like,
it just a little
son
bit.
of a bitch. And then when I'm watching YouTube and I want it full screen and it doesn't auto rotate, it's like, okay, go in, auto rotation on. Okay, now it did its thing, you know.
Right. So
yeah.
when you hit the button, it'll, if like you hit the expand button, it'll auto rotate like that. The problem is it won't lock, so it'll flip back and
Yes.
forth. About half the time a button pops up with a lock icon, it'll lock it before you full screen it. If they can make that every time, then it'll be
That's simple
flawless.
tweak stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. Like the fact the button is there means they're already working on it.
Yes.
And it's open
Yes.
source. Like you could take this exact bunch of code, like it's on GitHub. You can take the whole code, tweak like, I don't like the background being black. Let me make it gray.
Yeah.
Tweak the color code and it's done. Like
Yeah.
it is, open source is awesome for community development.
Yeah. Well, because actual things that are a problem and that piss people off get fixed immediately.
And they can report a bug or whatever and be like, hey, I looked at the code. This is what I think.
Yeah. Here's
Good
your
luck.
line that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Instead of having code monkeys scrape through thousands upon thousand lines of code for weeks on end to find
Whereas people
a
do it in their
missing
free time for
asterisk.
free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll literally develop it for free because they're bored.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah.
Crazy.
God, I love open source shit.
But yeah, I've been playing with it all week. So far, pretty good. So we'll see how it holds up over time. Or if YouTube fucking cease and desist some
Well,
fucking.
Yeah,
And
well, I
probably
mean,
'cause
Louis
they didn't think of it
Rossman
first.
is kind of known for cease and desists.
Yeah. Like, this is essentially, like, it was 2 years ago now. Like, YouTube Revanced got taken down. This spawned after that got taken down as like a. Revanced was good. How can we make it better?
Better and for the
Because-
community.
Like, when you subscribe to someone, say you're subscribed to Louis Rossman, you are subscribed to Louis Rossman on YouTube.
Yes.
You're not subscribed to him because you're doing it on YouTube's platform.
Yes. Which
If
is
YouTube-
controlled by them.
If YouTube decides, hey, your channel doesn't exist anymore, there's nothing you can do
Gone.
about it.
Yep.
Versus like this, you can subscribe to Louis Rossman on all of his channels, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Odyssey, on Rumble. Like,
Which is
It-
also a great source of viewer engagement as well and distribution when you really boil that down.
because the problem with YouTube is they're very restrictive. The
And
problem
they're-
with
and very controlling.
yes, the problem with every other platform is nobody's on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nobody's on Rumble, nobody's on
Nope.
Odyssey, and the people who are very small numbers.
Yes.
This way, they're all in one database, so you're not going to YouTube and only watching YouTube. You're not
Yeah.
going to Odyssey and only watching Odyssey. You can
It's a one-stop shop for
all the platforms.
everybody's content that you want to see.
Plus, having Patreon tied in is great because, like, I don't subscribe to Patreons and stuff, but like, a lot of people, it's like, yeah, it's great, except it's on a different app, and I
Yeah.
can't, I have to switch back and forth
Yep.
all the time and check it. Like, for that, it's like, oh, I watch on YouTube. It's like, oh, hey, a Patreon clip right below it. I can
Yep.
just watch that too now.
Mhm.
Super nice.
I do like the fact that Spotify picked up on that
Mhm.
switching of platforms to
Yes.
Patreon. Spotify has it to where you basically link your Patreon with Spotify,
Right.
and there is the exclusive
Exclusive content
episode
only.
under that. It's technically another page,
It's a separate RSS feed. to
yeah,
pull
but it's the
exclusive.
same
It's the
content,
same
and
app.
you don't have to change the app. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It is.
It knows they're two separate feeds, but it's the same thing, so it keeps them together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the one I follow is The Yard. It's Ludwig
and
and their
them.
group. Yeah. So they have the Patreon, which there's also tiers of it. So I only have the first tier unlocked because I just want the more podcast episodes.
Right.
Whereas there's also like other stuff you can get with it. So I only have that one section of it unlocked. Whereas there also is like 2 other tiers of it to be unlocked as well.
Mhm.
Still on the Spotify app, you can do more of it.
Right.
But I thought it was pretty cool that
that
they're
Spotify
integrating
is
it.
starting
Yeah.
to.
I don't know if they've reached out only to them because they're one of the biggest people on Patreon right now.
I do know it's like I have seen the option on the back end, but I don't know how.
I don't know if it's open
Well,
to everybody because
and
like if
see-
Total
Exactly.
Off Road could do it or who
You know,
all can
that's
do it.
that's kind of a thing for more big ass companies like that where it's
Mhm.
we're gonna go with you. This is a
Yeah.
surefire thing.
Test run it.
Yeah.
If this
And-
is
yeah.
something a lot of people, if
Yeah.
you have 85% of your channel using
Not using the
this
Patreon
sen-
app anymore,
you know,
and
this
just staying in
section
it,
that
yeah.
we made,
Yeah.
we'll go
Essentially-
ahead and roll out a full
And
fledged.
I think it will because
Yeah.
it's that and like Patreon. I don't know if it's just through my phone or what, but the Patreon app, volume does not get loud enough. It's not just the one podcast either. It's every podcast.
It's everything.
It's just genuinely quieter. When I stay on that Spotify, the Patreon content or the exclusive content
is the same volume as
same
Spotify.
volume through Spotify because
Good.
it's the same Spotify player playing through my phone.
And it's
So I'm like, great, like I don't have to lose that little bit of volume,
Yeah.
which 90% of the time through my
Raycon branded earbuds.
well, yeah, my noise canceling earpods, like I'm listening to it in a loud environment. I want every bit of volume. It's my decision. It's my choice to absolutely,
Turn it into the red.
yeah.
like I need to turn it up so I can fucking hear it.
Yeah,
It's
because
not-
everything around me is loud, so I have to tone as much of it out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's my choice to do that. Like, and my I don't know if your guys' phone does it. Like, especially with any Bluetooth thing that I connect to,
After,
it
like-
yells at me for 15, 20 minutes. It'll be like, volume
No.
warning.
Mine.
Oh my
if you
god,
turn
all
it-
the time.
If you turn it up all the way, it'll be like constant exposure
Yeah.
to loud sound can hurt your ears, and that's it. It'll
Yeah,
never
no,
do it
mine gives
again.
me a pop up every 20 minutes of listening to shit.
Oh god.
Yeah, I there's no way to shut it off either.
There's one way.
Well, yeah, switching fucking phones. But
Yeah, but that's such a pain in the ass.
yeah, it's like, oh, I get so pissed off because I'm so used to the ding all the
Mm-hmm.
time now.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that
Which sometimes it's not even because sometimes it'll be my Bluetooth or my FM transmitter. So
Interesting.
my phone volume is all the way up, so it thinks that I'm blasting music, but the music in my car on the dial is down.
low.
yeah.
Or even
that's-
there's a lot of stuff like that I do, and I'm just like it's not that
Like when
there's
you- when you
there's
pair to
two
Bluetooth.
different volume
Yeah.
options. Just because it's cranked on my phone doesn't mean I'm cranking it in real life,
exactly. Like every time I hook to my truck, it maxes the volume on my phone.
which is good because
Which
then
is-
you just have the one place to control it through.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's like with the FM transmitter, it's like my car volume is quiet, but since
But
my
the
phone
phone-
volume is just all the way up.
the
It
phone
I
throws a
have
fit.
thinks it's
kind of
loud.
that same thing at work. So with most of my stations, so there's what's called an STL or studio transmitter link. So that over microwave sends the audio signal from in the studio to the transmitter
Okay.
site. And so I can glance over at my number one rack and see all that. And sometimes
Human-tory? Your number one
Uh-huh.
rack?
sometimes somebody will have AV air potted up a little higher, like they just accidentally hit it and it'll be in the red. Bugs the fuck out of me.
So you just bring it back down just a
I
hair.
have to go into the studio and turn it down. So yeah, and 99% of the time, especially audio engineering stuff, your main feed. So if I'm going on a tangent,
You sure are.
if I'm from a studio to a distribution amp and then it's getting split 6 different ways, from the studio to the DA, max that fucker out.
The maximum amount of clean power.
Yes.
That's
Because
the
by
idea.
the time it gets split, even if it's powered or unpowered, you want the highest point ever because I can always turn it down later.
Exactly.
You work backwards, basically. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know how that is. I got my phone that has volume, then a Bluetooth transmitter that has a volume, and then
Yeah.
a
There's 3 different
a
stages
stereo
of
that's in my
volume.
office that also has a volume.
Yeah.
And it's just, my phone's all the way up because I can, or the stereo's all the way up because I can manually control it on my phone.
Exactly.
Yep.
Cool. I think that's enough for today. That's about an hour
Yeah.
50. So
Enough tangenting.
Yeah.
enough stuff. Let's
Lots
see
of
if,
it.
see if Nick shows up next week.
God.
God bless.
He's
All
he's
right.
got a lot of stuff to catch up on.
He
Fuck
sure
yeah.
does. For everybody else, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.